It's a beautiful day here in Florida, which means it's a great day for baseball. As Steinbrenner Field is being prepared for this afternoon's game, the fans are coming into the stadium. They're going to see some of their heroes, of course. Derek Jeter will be at short, Alex Rodriguez at third base, and check this out. Jorge Posada will be the DH today, getting some time working out at first base. As today, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's going to be the Yankees against division rival Toronto Blue Jays from beautiful Steinbrenner Field here in Tampa, Florida. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty this afternoon. We'll have the action for you. Now, yesterday, the Yankees and the Blue Jays played up in Dunedin. That's where the Blue Jays called spring training home. And the Blue Jays won the ball game by a score of 6-5. The Yankees will try and return the favor this afternoon with a victory. Now, one of the topics here in spring training for the Yankees is the 4th and 5th spots in the rotation. And Flash, how is that shaping up right now?
Well, a lot of questions, Kenny, coming into spring training. Who are going to be the two pitchers to fill in for the Yankees, number 4 and 5? Ivan Nova has been very impressive. Sergio Mitre, solid. He can also pitch out of the bullpen. Bartolo Colon, really the one surprise. I think the Yankees, he's got a little bit more than they thought he had. Freddie Garcia is going to pitch this afternoon. He has been good coming off a rough outing, looking to redeem himself this afternoon.
Well, Freddie Garcia will be facing Brett Cecil, who's pitching for the Blue Jays, and he pitched very well against the Yankees last year, going 4-0 with a 2.67 earned run average. The Yankees only hit .258 against a 24-year-old left-hander. Well, coming up, we've got baseball for you. The Yankees getting ready against the Toronto Blue Jays, taking their final paces before this game. The Yankees and the Blue Jays coming up next, right here on Yes. Today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by Nissan. Get to the Nissan Now sales event for the Nissan U1. Visit ChooseNissan.com or your local dealer now. By Chase, deposit checks from your smartphone with quick deposit. Take a step forward and chase what matters. By Poland Spring, sourced only from carefully selected natural springs, born better. And by Acura Advance. Well, welcome back to Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees be taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. There's Yankee manager Joe Girardi. They'll be exchanging lineup cards shortly here at the home plate area. And it is a great day for baseball. We mentioned that in our open. Let's look at the game time weather conditions presented by Toyota. 79 degrees and not much of a breeze here in Tampa today. And that says it all. It's picture perfect. And in the Bronx, not so bad, Flash. 50 degrees in the Bronx. I'm sure the Yankees and the Tigers would take that on opening day, which is coming up pretty soon on March 31st.
You know what? Derek Jeter actually told me he looked at the extended forecast already for opening day, and it sounds like it's going to be in the low 40s with a chance of rain.
Well, when you're the captain, you should be prepared, right, to lead your team into the battle of a long season. Here are the umpires. Mark Wegner will be behind home plate. Eric Cooper will be at first. Marty Foster will be at second base, and Dan Iasonia, all major league regulars who are in there this afternoon for our umpiring crew. And should have a good crowd on hand once again. As the Yankees and the Blue Jays, these two teams played yesterday in Dunedin. The Blue Jays came away with a one-run victory, and there are the Yankees taking the field. They'll be led by Freddie Garcia, number 36, who'll be doing the pitching. It'll be his third start for the Yankees this spring, at least his third start on yes. And he's been like our designated yes pitcher. Let's take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup presented by Lexus. At the very top, the newly acquired Rajai Davis. He'll be in right field. Yunel Escobar will be at shortstop. Young rookie Eric Thames will be in left field. Another rookie, Brett Lowry, will be at third base. David Cooper, former #1 draft pick, will be at first. J.P. Arencibia, he'll be doing the catching. Adam Lowen, interesting story there. Former pitcher, is now a designated hitter. Anthony Gose, the center fielder, great speed. And Mike McCoy, Mr. Utility, batting ninth. He'll be at second base.
Well, that young Blue Jay lineup going to go to work against Freddie Garcia, trying to win a spot in the Yankee rotation, coming off a rough outing his last time. These are the numbers last year with the White Sox: 12 wins, ERA of 4.64, and opponents hitting .279 against him last year. Take a look at our scouting report. On Freddie Garcia, he needs to have a short memory. His last outing, 2 2/3 innings. He gave up 4 earned runs, his worst outing of the spring. And you got to get right back after it. A big opportunity this afternoon to impress the coaching staff and manager Joe Girardi. And he needs to find a rhythm early. Working with young catcher Austin Romine have not worked in a spring training game together. So Garcia, trying to win a spot, has to get on the same page with the young catcher early on.
Let's check out the Yankees on defense, which is brought to you by DirecTV. In the outfield from left to right, it's going to be Nunez in the outfield today. Melky Mesa in center. And Andrew Jones will be in right field. Alex Rodriguez at third. Derek Jeter at short. Robinson Cano at second. Mark Teixeira, the familiar infield for the New York Yankees. And Austin Romine, the young catcher, catching Freddie Garcia, as Flash said, for the first time. This is our first look at Rajai Davis in a Blue Jays uniform. And he takes the first pitch from Garcia. High for ball one. Rajai Davis coming over from the Oakland A's, where he is a big-time base stealer. On the ground is short for Jeter. He's going to have to hurry. Gets it across the diamond, and they're one out here in the first inning.
Well, nice start for Freddie Garcia. A little fastball down and away. Gets a routine ground ball. But I mentioned Austin Romine, the young catcher behind the plate. And Garcia trying to win a spot in the rotation. Obviously an important afternoon for him to try to get back on track.
Number 2 hitter is the shortstop, Yunel Escobar, having a very good spring, hitting .364. Last year he came over from the Atlanta Braves. Pitch is fouled off, strike one. The Blue Jays sending Alex Gonzalez, their shortstop, to Atlanta. Straight up exchange for shortstops.
And Brian Butterfield, the infield instructor and third base coach for the Blue Jays, raving about Escobar last year when he got traded over there and having a nice spring with the bat.
There's a breaking ball, and it drops in for a strike. Flash, what type of pitcher is Garcia now? He used to be a real hard thrower.
Used to be a hard thrower. Now when you talk to Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, he said he'll throw the kitchen sink up there.
And they say that Escobar went around too far, and Romine's going to throw the ball to first base to complete the putout. So an off-speed pitch gets Escobar to strike out. There's 2 down.
A pretty good breaking ball down in the dirt. A nice block by Romine, keeping it in front. The check swing. Escobar did not think that he went. First base umpire Eric Cooper disagrees. Well, a nice start for Freddie Garcia.
So 2 up and 2 down. It brings up Eric Thames, the left fielder. Thames is a player the Blue Jays think quite a bit of. And he hits one hard, but right at Cano, one hopper. And Garcia off to a good start. A 1-2-3 inning for Freddie Garcia and the Yankees. We're headed to the bottom of the first with no score. Steinbrenner Field, and it's time to check out the Yankee starting lineup presented by Lexus. Derek Jeter will be at the top. Eduardo Nunez, there's a bit of a change there. He's in left field today. Mark Teixeira will be at first, followed by Alex Rodriguez in the cleanup spot. Then Robinson Cano batting fifth. Jorge Posada is the designated hitter. Andrew Jones in right field today. Austin Romine doing the catching, and the speedy Melky Mesa will be in center field batting ninth.
The Yankee lineup going to face left-hander Brett Cecil this afternoon, an impressive young lefty for the Toronto Blue Jays, and good numbers last year. 15 wins, ERA just over 4. Opponents hitting .264 against him last year. We'll look at our scouting report. That number 15 with the wins, very impressive when you consider pitching in the American League East. And he covers all the zones. He can pitch up with his fastball, in with his cutter, an outstanding changeup. He's got that closer mentality, a closer in college at Maryland. Not afraid to pound the right-handers in, especially with that cut fastball.
And the Blue Jays have talked about him becoming their Andy Pettit. Of course, the now retired Andy Pettit, but we all know what Andy did against American League East teams. He was very strong against the division, as was Cecil last year. Here's Derek Jeter. Spring training numbers are pretty good. Still looking for his first run batted in, but his average up at .313 to lead things off for the Yankees today. Cecil's first pitch on the ground, off the glove of the third baseman Lowry, and it's going to be a base hit for Jeter, who takes the turn at first and will hold on as Escobar recovers. So not wasting any time, Jeter with a leadoff single.
No, nothing new for Derek Jeter. He shortened the stride up a little bit, but the mentality the same. Aggressive early in the count. First pitch fastball just out of the reach of Lowry. One pitch, base hit. Yankees in business here in the first.
Here is Eduardo Nunez facing Cecil. Now, one thing Cecil was able to do last year, he could throw a double play ball. And when you think of what Andy Pettit was all about, Andy could pick up a strikeout when he really needed it and get out of trouble with a double play. Here's Nunez, and he too is having a good spring, hitting .324 with a home run. And the first pitch is upstairs, ball one. Nunez getting a look in left field today. Now, he played some outfield in the minor leagues, but primarily he's been a shortstop. And prior to the game today, he actually got an award. The minor league player of the year in the Yankees system last year, the Kevin Lawn Award. So congratulations to him and David Phelps, who was the Yankees minor league pitcher of the year.
Well, quite an honor for those two players. But Nunez, a highly regarded prospect, has opened up some eyes this spring. His versatility, you mentioned, can play the outfield a little bit.
Jeter's off and running, got a great jump, and there'll be no throw by Aaron Sibia. And Derek Jeter picks up the stolen base. We were talking about the awards that Nunez and Phelps received, and here's a look. And prior to the game, congratulations. There's David Phelps. The two young men certainly have to be proud of their accomplishments last year that might help them on their way to the big leagues. Nunez tries to lay down a bunt and misses, and the count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, not a bad thought for Nunez right there. Derek Jeter steals second base easily in scoring position. Nunez thinks about dropping down a bunt to advance him to third base. Problem, Cecil has a very, very good changeup. Tough pitch to bunt.
By the way, Jeter's first stolen base of the spring. 2-2 pitches on the way, hit on the ground towards short slowly. Escobar has it and throws on the first, and it's in time. Eric Cooper says that the first baseman, David Cooper, maintained contact with the bag. Let's check out the Blue Jays on defense, brought to you by DirecTV. Thames, Ghost, and Davis in the outfield. A lot of speed out there. Lowry, Escobar, McCoy, and Cooper in the infield. And Aaron Sibia doing the catching for Brett Cecil. How about that? You got David Cooper playing first base, and Eric Cooper is the first base umpire. First pitch to Teixeira is ball 1. Teixeira, too, having good numbers this spring, hitting .367. That's inside for ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. So Jeter remained at second on that ground ball. I thought he might have had a thought of going to third base.
You know, I think the ball was off the end of the bat from Nunez, and the speed of the ground ball probably tricked Derek Jeter right to the shortstop. He decided to play conservatively.
2-0 pitch, pounded foul into the Blue Jays dugout.
You know, Kenny, you mentioned Mark Teixeira, the good spring, .367 coming in, but has not hit a home run yet. I think that's starting to play on him a little bit here, March 19th.
Yeah, you got about, what, 10 days to go before the... I always felt I want to hit at least one during spring training to prove to myself I could still hit one. It won't be too long before he gets one to go. Pitch is drilled into left field. Coming on is the left fielder Thames, and he makes the catch. A solid line drive out off the bat of Mark Teixeira, and Jeter remains at second.
First curveball that we've seen from Brett Cecil, Mark Teixeira all over it, and obviously we're going to pay attention to Mark and how he starts off the season. A notoriously slow starter.
Well, speaking of having a good spring, Alex Rodriguez. Not over 300, but over 400 with 4 home runs, and it just started right from the beginning, hitting the ball well. First pitch, looked like a little cutter, down and in for ball 1.
Well, the health issues for Alex Rodriguez, mentioned that the hip is not a factor. He could train this offseason just to get ready for the grind of a major league season. Like you mentioned, Ketty, red hot right from the beginning.
The 1-0 pitch. Hit on the ground, and it's a fair ball down the third base line. It's going to be an extra base hit. Jeter will score easily from second. A-Rod's on his way to second, and he is in with a double. And the Yankees take the lead 1-0. Alex Rodriguez does it again.
Well, this isn't his ace swing, but he's going to be able to stay back, and it looks like maybe another cutter that's middle. Kind of rolls over the top, gets a little top spin past the third baseman Lowry. Derek Jeter coming around third will score easily, so Alex Rodriguez and his red hot spring training continues this afternoon.
5th double of the spring for Alex Rodriguez to go along with the 4 home runs, and here's Robinson Cano. Yankees up 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Pitch to Cano is upstairs for ball 1. Robinson hitting just .212. I'm not too worried about that. I'd rather him hit .212 here than once the Yankees get up north.
You know what, I look at a spring training batting average like that, and I don't know how you felt, Kenny, but it didn't really bother me to struggle that much in spring training because you had to work on your mechanics and kind of find that one key at the plate that locks you in. Robinson Cano's still trying to find it.
You know, this is about the time you want to get it going, though.
Right
about 10 days to a week to go. Pitch is outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Now, Cano, of course, had a great year last year, 3rd in the MVP race, but .319 average, 5th best in the American League, 29 home runs, 109 runs batted in, both career high. Second time on the All-Star team. Second Silver Slugger Award. First Gold Glove. Only 3 errors last year. As I said, third in the American League MVP balloting. 2-0 pitch, outside, ball 3. I think one thing that helped him, he became more selective as a hitter and more willing to accept the walk. You know, a lot of times pitchers just don't want to pitch with you or pitch to you, and then all of a sudden, you know, just off the plate. And sometimes as a younger hitter, he would have chased some of those pitches. Let's see if he has the green light here, 3-0. He doesn't, and takes one in there for a call strike, and it's 3-1.
Well, we saw that resume from last year for Robinson Cano in an outstanding season, and you wonder how much better he can get.
Kind of surprised me, Kevin Long, the hitting instructor, saying he's got the ability to hit 40 home runs.
An awfully big number.
Well, certainly, I feel he can get over 30 this year and still maintain a .300 batting average. Pitch is on the way, and he might have chased one there, and the count is now full at 3-2.
Yeah, Cecil's not going to light up the radar gun 87 miles an hour, but I mentioned earlier in the scouting report he can pitch with his fastball up in the zone. Has a little bit of life. He's a little deceptive with his delivery. Robinson Cano helped him out.
Payoff pitch is on the way, and it's hit well to right center field. Going back is Davis, and this one is gone. A home run for Robinson Cano, and the Yankees jump out in front 3-0. And for Cano, his first home run of the spring. There was a charge put into that one.
Well, we mentioned Robinson Cano looking for maybe for that one at bat to get him going, and it's a fastball right down the middle. Brett Cecil, who got behind 3-0, came with 3 consecutive fastballs, and Robinson Cano does not miss this one. Deep into right center, his first home run of the spring.
Well, the Yankees would now say, ooh, man. Yeah, he's starting to come on now. Here's Jorge Posada, takes a pitch upstairs for ball 1. The Yankees sending their 6th hitter to the plate here in the first inning. Off-speed pitch is in there for a strike. Did you see Cecil's reaction when the Cano hit the ball? He knew he wasn't getting that one back.
Yeah, he's seen that swing, and I guess the sound off of the bat. He knew it was going to go a long way.
Did it hit him? Yes, it did. Just clip Jorge Posada, and he'll head down to first base. So now the 7th batter will come to the plate in the person of Andrew Jones, as Cano, I should say, as Posada trots down to first.
Cecil obviously struggling with his location and his command, and I mentioned he's got that closer's mentality. Not afraid to go inside, which opens up the outer half for his changeup. Just clips Jorge Posada.
So Posada at first with 2 outs. And here comes Andrew Jones. Jones hit 19 home runs a year ago for the Chicago White Sox. Takes a pitch, and it is in there for a call strike. Got a home run this spring. Jones is kind of looked at as the 4th outfielder in the Yankee picture. Can play all 3 outfield positions. Another pitch in there for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, this will probably be his role, facing left-handers, giving Curtis Granderson, maybe Brett Gardner, an afternoon or a night off. I think the Yankees would be very happy if he can supply a little bit of power from the right side and good defense a couple of days a week.
10 Gold Gloves for Andrew Jones during his career. Now, after the ball game today, we hope you stay tuned for the spring training report, and you will find out a lot more about Andrew Jones. Have a feature on him. That pitch is down low, and from a veteran to a youngster, we also have a nice conversation with Jesus Montero, the young Yankee catcher. So after the game, Jack Curry will run you through your paces, and you'll be able to learn a lot more about Jones and Montero and other subjects as well. 2-2 pitch on the way with 2 outs. And that just missed. And the count goes full of 3-2. So Posada will be off and running on the 3-2 pitch.
We'll get another look. Aaron Sebia behind the plate, setting up inside. It looks like maybe a soft cutter. Doesn't get the call from Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire.
Here's your payoff pitch. And it's high for ball 4. Jones draws a walk.
So Kenny, this is unusual to see from Brett Cecil. It seemed like every time he pitched against the Yankees last year, he was Cy Young candidate. He was dominating, having trouble with his location and his changeup early on.
And that not only was against the Yankees in the Eastern Division, he was 11-2. 11 of his 15 wins came against Eastern Division rivals. They're trying to slow things down here and give him a breather more than anything else. There's the new manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, John Farrell, who takes over this year. Of course, Cito Gaston retired at the end of last year. The Yankees were actually in town when they had a nice ceremony to send Cito on his way, who's now a consultant. I think that's a way of getting your greens fees paid for.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see the transition with John Farrell, a reputation as a great pitching coach with the Boston Red Sox. Comes over here with a lot of good young arms with the Toronto Blue Jays. See how it works out.
Austin Romine, the catcher, takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Romine getting a look this afternoon. He's every time we're talking about catchers, I always defer to you, Flash. What do you like about Austin Romine?
Well, he's an outstanding defensive catcher behind the plate, and I guess the biggest thing I'm impressed with is swing this spring.
There's a pitch for a strike, and it's 1-1.
He's done a lot of work with Kevin Long, and when you watch him get ready to hit, he gets that front foot down awfully early, which gives him a lot more time to recognize pitches. See Kevin Long looking on. You know, Kevin has been impressed with his offensive game this spring.
2 on, 2 outs. Yankees leading 3-0 here in the bottom of the first. Next pitch is hit on the ground to third for Lowry. He steps on the bag ahead of Posada, and that's going to do it for the Yankees here in the bottom of the first. But they break open on the scoreboard. 3 runs on 3 hits, including a 2-run home run by Robinson Cano that gives him a 3-0 lead.
When things work together.
Well, fans, tomorrow afternoon, the Nets head to Washington for a matinee against the Wizards. Complete coverage starts at 12:30 with the Nets pregame. Then Ryan Rucco and Mike Fratello bring you the call from courtside. It's Nets, Wizards. It all starts tomorrow at 12:30, only on Yes. There's some Yankee fans enjoying the game today. Look like they're down from New Jersey, enjoying the sunshine here in Florida. Here's Freddie Garcia pitching to the youngster Brett Lowry, who's the third baseman. The Blue Jays think a lot of this youngster. He might, I'm not saying he will or he won't, but he'll be in the big leagues pretty soon. He swings a very good bat. Fouls this one back. Hitting .333 this spring with a couple of home runs, 5 runs batted in. And he's a native of Canada. He's from British Columbia, the far west of Canada. That's what he did in Double-A last year. 285, 8 home runs, 63 runs batted in. Curveball is high. 2 balls and a strike. Blue Jays have another Canadian in their lineup today, Adam Lowen, who is also from British Columbia. He's serving as a designated hitter. Curveball misses. 3 balls and a strike. Freddie Garcia had a 1-2-3 first inning. Here was the deal. Sean Markham going to the Milwaukee Brewers. He's come up with a tight shoulder. Pitch is fouled back and out of play.
Markham a good pitcher, so obviously the Blue Jays high on the prospects of Lowry.
Well, Markham was the top winner last year. 3 balls and 2 strikes on the Blue Jays' number 4 hitter, leading it off here in the second. Pitch is hit on ground to short. Jeter gloves it, throws it, and there's 1 out. Nice little bounce back during that at bat for Freddie Garcia. He fell behind on the count. He was struggling in his last start, pitching deep in the counts and having to make a pitch, and he didn't make them during the course of the game. Today he's faring much better thus far. Here's Eric Cooper. Should say David Cooper, the first baseman. Former number 1 draft pick for the Blue Jays. And the first pitch is a fastball upstairs for ball 1.
You can see the fastball from Garcia is not lighting up the radar gun this afternoon, and the numbers for Cooper last year in Double-A, 20 home runs.
Bouncing ball to second for Cano. And it's 2 up and 2 down. 5 straight Blue Jays retired by Freddie Garcia.
Well, Garcia doesn't have to have that overpowering fastball. Has a little bit of movement, can locate, and can pitch backwards. And by that I mean in a fastball count can drop an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup or a curveball. Keeps the hitters off balance. 5 up, 5 down.
J.P. Arancibia, the catcher. MVP in the Pacific Coast League last year with those 32 home runs. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. He had a debut at the major league level that hasn't been achieved since. That's what he did. August 7th, 4 for 5, a couple of home runs. And then following that point, he went 1 for 31. And this spring, he's not hitting the ball particularly well either. But he should be the number 1 starter behind the plate for the Blue Jays this year. That pitch is swung on and missed. Good off-speed pitch, 1 and 2.
Yeah, good curveball from Garcia. And the one thing that the major league scouts saw last year with this young backstop, he can swing at a first pitch fastball. Both of his home runs, you see the resume, born in Miami, Florida. Both of those home runs on his first game, first pitch fastballs.
Tried to check a swing, went around too far and is struck out. Romine recovers, throws the first, and once again, Freddie Garcia. A 1-2-3 inning. Blue Jays go in order here in the second. Yankees lead it 3-0. Before we get to the bottom of the second here in Tampa, let's check out the upcoming schedule brought to you by Avis. Game on Tuesday. We'll actually be on the road, Flash. We're headed down to Sarasota. The Yankees will take on the Baltimore Orioles. And as you look off into the distance there, you see the game on the 31st. Opening day, the Yankees and the Detroit Tigers from Yankee Stadium. Yankees opening at home this year. Melky Mesa swings at the first pitch and lines it foul into the seats. Strike one. Mesa starting at center field today. Curtis Granderson getting a day off. I was talking to Alex Rodriguez around the batting cage about Melky Mesa. He says he reminds him of a combination of Alfonso Soriano and a young Sammy Sosa.
Pretty good combination right there.
Well, you got a lot of power and speed in those players. And Mesa hit 19 home runs for Tampa last year. Also had over 30 stolen bases. There's a pitch swung on and fouled back. And the count is 1-2. So there is some power and speed there. And I guess this year, natural progression, he should be in Trenton. He should be a Double-A.
Well, you can see with his setup, he'll remind you of Alfonso Soriano. Doesn't have that big leg kick that Sori had.
Inside for ball, 2-2.
Kenny's one of those kids, when you're around him, you could tell he's oozing with confidence. You know, he knows he's a good player. He knows he's talented. He's not intimidated by a major league spring training.
Got a good throwing arm, too. Pitch is hit on the ground towards third. Lowry has it. Across the diamond. On the money, and there's one out. So Mesa's retired. Now we turn it over to the top of the order once again. Against Brett Cecil. And here is Derek Jeter. Had himself a base hit his first time up. Also stole a base, his first steal of the spring, and scored a run. He's 1 for 1. I think Derek should be happy with the way things are progressing with his newly found stride or lack thereof.
Well, early on in spring training, we heard Derek saying he was actually thinking about the stride, you know, going up to the plate and had some mechanical thoughts in his mind. And that's not Derek at all. And I think he's at that point now where he doesn't have to think about it. It's just starting to happen.
Pitch is hit hard towards the middle and into center field for a base hit. And Jeter is now 2 for 2. Hit the ball hard both times.
He's seen 3 pitches this afternoon. He's 2 for 2, and you're right, Kenny. Both of the balls have been hit right on the button. Little fastball up.
Past the diving Escobar. And into center field. That'll bring up Eduardo Nunez. See if they pay a little bit more attention to Jeter. Stole the bases last time. Nunez takes, and that misses. Ball 1.
Well, Nunez has hit a home run, 5 RBIs this spring, the impressive batting average. But you know what, Ken? He's also had some good situational at bats, moving runners over, fighting the ball off the other way. It seems like he's maturing as a hitter. It's not all or nothing. Has an idea when he goes up to the plate.
Pitch is hit in the air to left field and hit pretty well. Going back is Thames. He has a beat on it and will make the catch for the out. Jeter tags and heads to second, and he gets there ahead of the throw. So heads up base running by Derek Jeter to get himself into scoring position. And from an outfield standpoint, the center fielder should be yelling at the left fielder that he is tagging up, be aware, and get the ball back in quickly. Not quickly enough.
Well, this just proves to you you don't have to be the fastest base runner to be a very smart and good base runner. Derek Jeter, a smart play, tagging up, gets himself into scoring position with 2 outs.
Here's Mark Teixeira, who lined out the left field. That pitch is upstairs, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. You talk about hitting in the clutch. In the last 5 years, there's only been 1 player that's hit more 9th inning home runs than Mark Teixeira. He's hit 19 of them. And that player's on deck. Alex Rodriguez has hit 20 9th inning home runs in the last 5 years. Pitch hit on the ground to third. Lowry has it across the diamond. Teixeira's retired. And so are the Yankees here in the 2nd inning. Derek Jeter gets a hit, but that's it. It's 3-0 Yankees.
We are back at Steinbrenner Field. The Yankees lead 3-0 here in the top of the third. And Adam Lowe in first pitch swinging, ground ball to Mark Teixeira for 1 pitch and 1 out. In the top of the third, we're lucky enough to be joined by our own Jack Curry hanging out outside the Yankee clubhouse. And Jack, Kenny mentioned a little bit about how the Yankees did yesterday, losing a 1-run ball game. But I guess the story of the afternoon, A.J. Burnett.
Right, A.J. Burnett, if you look at it statistically, Flash, he had a messy game, and he admitted that. But the thing that he liked is he was working on his curveball, and he thought he had the best curveball that he's had this spring. He had an early day today, as you might imagine, in spring training. The pitcher who pitches the day before, he can come and get his workout in and then kind of move on out. But before he left today, I asked him about the possibility that he could be named the #2 starter, which could happen as early as today. And guys, as you might imagine, he's very excited about that possibility. He feels as if he's put the work in to get there.
Anthony Gose hits a fly ball out to right field. Andrew Jones going to make an easy play, so 2 quick outs here in the third.
And despite the fact, Jack, that he had sort of a, what did he call it, messy game, he still didn't walk anybody. He hasn't walked anybody this spring. That's got to be a good sign.
You know what's funny, Kenny? He laughs about that, but he laughs in a good way. He said he's even had friends of his around baseball texting him and saying, "Are you the same pitcher? Who is this guy that hasn't walked anybody in 13 innings?" But he thinks that some of that, a lot of that, in fact, can be attributed to the changes that Larry Rothschild has helped him make. He said he is moving that front leg towards home plate. It's not swinging out towards first base like a swinging gate, which is the way he described it. And he thinks that that is really allowing his delivery to be a lot smoother. He feels a lot better.
Well, the other news of the day, a lot of injuries around the Yankees. You have any updates for us, Jack?
A lot of injuries, John, and good updates for the Yankees. Jabba Chamberlain threw a bullpen session, about 30 pitches. He had been bothered by an oblique injury. He said he's feeling better. We see that ball trailing foul there. Pedro Feliciano, also another player who's been bothered by a triceps injury. His bullpen was a little shorter. He threw about 15 pitches, but he said he feels pretty good as well. Jabba was emphatic. He said, "I'm starting the season. There's no doubt that I'll be ready for opening day." Feliciano believes he'll be ready for opening day. One more bullpen guy, Logan, he has been bothered by some back spasms. We'll put it this way, guys. He's on the travel list to go to Clearwater tomorrow, which means that they put him on the travel list. There's a very good chance he'll pitch tomorrow. So pretty good news from the bullpen. Brett Gardner fouled a ball off his shin yesterday. He told me, "I'm in the lineup tomorrow. I could have played today, but you'll see me in there tomorrow."
Oh, you're saying it's sort of like a regular season they would be playing.
That's what he said, Kenny.
As McCoy hits a ground ball to Robinson Cano for the third out. Well, Jack Curry, if you can hang around and join us for the bottom of the third, we would appreciate it. Quick inning. We'll get some more information from Jack when we come back. In Tampa, and you know what, Kenny, we're going to make Jack Curry work a little overtime. The top of the third was so quick. We're going to bring Jack for the bottom of the third as Alex Rodriguez leads off, and the Yankees leading 3-0 against the Blue Jays. And, Jack, let's get back to A.J. Burnett and his spring training so far. I think the Yankees have to be very encouraged in some of the changes that he has made.
They really are, John. And when you think about it, this goes back, I think, to Brian Cashman visiting him in the offseason. And I think the Yankees, as Cashman said, they need A.J. Burnett to be a front end of the rotation pitcher, not a back end of the rotation guy. Cashman visited him in the offseason. He delivered that message. Rothschild delivered him in the offseason. They watched some tape. They started talking about those adjustments. And now when you think about with CeCe at the top of the rotation, and then you talk about who should be the number 2 or the number 3, I think it's more meaningful to A.J. Burnett to be that number 2 guy. I think Phil Hughes would shrug his shoulders and say, either way, 2 or 3 is fine with me. But I think with A.J., it shows that he accomplished something in spring training.
As Alex Rodriguez works a walk, and you mentioned earlier he was happy with his curveball yesterday. How about the velocity with the fastball?
Yeah, he said he thought his fastball and his fastball command were good. But Flash, the thing that was very interesting was he would not stop talking about that curveball. And he admitted that he gave Russ Martin a rough day back there, which you would appreciate as a former catcher. But he said we needed to get in sync there. We needed to have some symmetry. He said, anytime I get a batter 1-2 or 0-2, he said, more often than not, I'm going to try and throw my nastiest curveball. Russ needs to know that. And he said Russ blocked almost every pitch he threw yesterday.
Well, speaking of Russell Martin, he was in the lineup when I got up this morning, and I guess he was scratched Austin Romine catching today. Anything up with that?
Right. A couple of us wondered about that, but then Martin was on the field. He did go through drills. Martin said he was fine, said he would be in the lineup tomorrow. And I also wondered, John, with Austin Romine being away for a personal matter, I think the Yankees, with him getting back, there's a chance they wanted to get him right back into the action as well, get the kid behind the plate.
One more thing about A.J. Burnett, and you mentioned the fact that he would like to be number 2. That's the way the Yankees had signed him, to be a number 2 starter right behind CeCe Sabathia. And I think, Jack, going back a couple of years ago, he performed that role very well, and the Yankees went on to win the World Series. I think that's what he wants to do again.
There's no doubt about it, Kenny. And A.J. is a very honest guy when it comes to criticizing himself. And he will talk about how last year was a poor season. In many ways, he was embarrassed with the season that he put out there. And I think that going forward, knowing that he's the number 2 guy behind CeCe Sabathia, I think you're right. He wants the Yankees to help the Yankees get back to that script with Sabathia and he being a nice duo at the top of the rotation.
Well, Robinson Cano ahead in the count here, 2-0 with Alex Rodriguez on first, and a line drive right at short. Escobar makes the play. Alex Rodriguez actually got off first base, a possibility of a double play, but Escobar, not paying attention, takes the easy out.
He didn't even look, and that, to me, you give yourself a chance to get a double play, and he didn't even give himself a chance. You watch the line drive, you watch Alex Rodriguez breaking off of first base, and he got out there a little bit too far, but Escobar doesn't even look towards first. He was satisfied with 1 out.
I'll bring up Jorge Posada with 1 out. You know, Jack, I wanted to talk about Jorge Posada, and you've been mentioning all spring about the adjustment to the DH role coming into this game, hitting just over 200. How's he adjusting?
You know what, Flash? I talked to his dad the past couple of days, and who knows someone's swing better than their own father? And I asked Mr. Posada, who's also a scout, he scouts for the Rockies, what kind of advice can you give to Jorge? And he said, listen, he's been a hitter his whole life. He's a baseball player. But then his voice kind of trailed off a little bit. And he said, but he's so used to catching. And I could kind of sense the father feeling some of what the son is going through right now, that he does have to figure out a way to get through this DH role and figure out the way that works the best for him.
It's not an easy thing, having gone through the same thing myself, Jack, and you're right. You have to figure it out on your own, what you do in between your at-bats. And for Posada, I think that's going to be an ongoing issue until he can settle into a routine. And the routine's going to change, I believe, once he gets up north. It's not the same as it is here in Florida.
Right, Kenny. We've talked about that and how for the 81 games at Yankee Stadium, he'll have his routine. He probably in his head already has it now. But what happens when he goes to Boston or Toronto or Tampa Bay, and it's a different routine? And say he gets into the habit of between at-bats wanting to ride an exercise bike for 5 minutes. Well, what happens if the exercise bike is so far away that he can't do that between at-bats? So a lot of things that I think Jorge is going to have to adjust to, and it's going to be an ongoing story for all of us to cover.
As Jorge fouls off a little changeup. Well, Jack, we're going to thank you for your time and putting in a little overtime, and we look forward to the spring training report and maybe something later from one of the players who comes out of the game. So thanks.
Thanks a lot, guys.
You know, one thing about becoming a designated hitter, and as I mentioned before, it's not an easy thing. It's just too much to think about. I mean, you can think about your at-bats once you're out of there. When you're an everyday player and you go out in the field, you have to file away your last at-bat and concentrate on defense. That's not going to be the situation for Posada this year.
Well, it's going to be interesting with Kevin Long. He wants to keep Jorge out of the video room watching his swing. He said he could go in there and watch a pitcher, Brett Cecil in this case, and see how he got him out or actually hit him his first at bat. It'll be a tough transition.
I could tell him it was a cutter. And that's what hit him.
Well, he takes a close cutter. It looked like Brett Cecil thought that had the possibility of being strike 3. So Jorge Posada, who was in the hole 0-2, works it back to a full count.
Speaking of Cecil, he hadn't been sharp that day. Today he's behind in counts. Some pitches in the middle of the plate have been hit pretty hard by the Yankees.
Yeah, unusual to see. We've seen him so good against the Yankees. As Alex Rodriguez takes off, Jorge Posada fights one off the other way. It's going to be a base hit to right field. Alex Rodriguez cruising into third base. A nice at bat for Jorge Posada.
We're talking about that the Blue Jays want Brett Cecil to become their version of Andy Pettitte. And we look at the motion. Andy brings his hands way much further over his head than Cecil. But I think it's more in the results. Cecil gets a lot of double plays, picks up strikeouts, is fearless, doesn't seem to panic in situations. And that's more like Andy Pettitte.
Well, he could use a double play right here. Jorge Posada on first base, Alex Rodriguez on third. The Yankees leading 3-0. It'll be Andrew Jones who walked his first plate appearance. First pitch swinging, fouls off a fastball.
We talked about Cecil's success against the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Orioles, and the Rays. 11-2.
That is a nice reputation to get as a young left-handed pitcher, being able to pitch in this division, probably the toughest in baseball. Change up misses.
Tell you, Andrew Jones tried to unload the wagon with one swing there, didn't he? My goodness, he did not get cheated.
Spring training numbers: 222, a home run and 4 RBIs. It's going to be interesting, Kenny, to see how Joe Girardi gets him some regular at bats to keep him fresh during the year. Fouls off a changeup. And Curtis Granderson did such a nice job against lefties after the adjustments that Kevin Long made. And Joe Girardi's going to have to find a way to get Andrew Jones some consistent at bats.
Yeah, Granderson having a very good spring again this year. He's got 3 home runs. He's got 3 triples. That's been his specialty over the years, triples.
Remember some at bats against lefties too, putting some good at bats against the left-handed pitching. It'll be a ground ball to Escobar. Looks like this is going to be that double play that Cecil needed. A little wide throw to first, but David Cooper able to make the play. So Brett Cecil got himself in a little bit of trouble, picked up a double play. The Yankees lead 3-0. Well, the Yankees lead 3-0 on our Cadillac scoreboard, the top of the 4th inning, and it is our pleasure to bring in the manager of the New York Yankees, Joe Girardi, who is going to join us for this half inning. How you doing today, Joe?
I'm good, John. Kenny, how are you guys?
I'm doing fine, thank you, Joe.
Well, Joe, you have to be pleasantly surprised with Mr. Freddie Garcia this afternoon, who throws a first pitch fastball for another strike.
Yeah, he's been ahead a lot, and he's gotten a lot of ground ball outs. He's gotten 6 of the 9 recorded as ground balls and 2 strikeouts. So, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do today.
Now, he had a rough outing his last outing. I mean, what are the differences you see today?
You know, I thought he got in some long counts, and, you know, they fouled some balls off, and he got in some 3-1 counts and some 3-2 counts, and it's difficult, you know, to expand within the zone a little bit when you do that, and that's what caused him some problems.
As Davis hits a shot down the left field line, Eduardo Nunez cuts it off. Davis, who has great speed, into second base. He's going to get in there standing up with a leadoff double, the first base hit for the Blue Jays this afternoon.
Yeah, that's why the Blue Jays got Davis to infuse some speed into their lineup. But Joe, let's talk a little bit about the hitting. You know,
yes.
Your hitters look like they're ready to go north. Let's start it up for real.
Yeah, I think hitters get ready a lot quicker, and you start to get in the 3rd and the 4th week, and they start to get ready to go, and that's where we are. You know, I think our guys have swung the bat really well. And now it's just getting them to play 2 and 3 days in a row, getting used to that everyday feeling that they need.
It must be a good sign to see it against Brett Cecil, a guy who gave you a lot of problems last year.
Yes, he did. You know, he has an outstanding changeup. Him and Romero both gave us a lot of trouble.
As you see, Escobar gets a base hit to left field, so the Blue Jays have something going here in the 4th, 1st and 3rd, nobody out. And you know, Joe, you mentioned this time in spring training, March 19th. Do you feel like it's kind of those dog days of spring training for the players, or they still have some enthusiasm?
No, I think they still have the enthusiasm. And I try to watch too. You know, if we and the night games have helped a little bit when we've had a couple of night games in a row at home. And the great thing about the last week of spring training, which is usually a lot of times the hardest for players, is we're home a lot, and that will help because guys are tired of getting on the buses and. And physically, it's, you know, the long bus rides are tough sometimes.
James, first pitch swinging, foul ball.
Saw an old friend in your office this morning when I was coming through. Joe Torre was at the stadium. Nice to see Joe, and I guess that brings back good memories for you, Joe.
It does. You know, I had Joe as a manager for the 4 years, and he allowed me to be his bench coach, which was just a great opportunity for me, and kind of set up my managerial career by being able to do that. So it was great to see him. We got to see him Thursday as well, so it's been really nice.
And I understand we're going to see Joe Torre at Old Timers Day this year.
Ah, very good.
Ground ball. Mark Teixeira makes a nice play, throws to Romine at home. They have Davis held up, but he's going to slide in there safely. It looked like the throw from Romine a little bit off the mark.
Teixeira made the choice to go home and keep Davis from scoring. Maybe he didn't feel he could recover quickly enough and make the play at first base. See, he ranges far off the bag. I mean, ball would have headed to second base. There's the throw to Romine, who flips it to third. But Davis has speed and gets back to third base. So the bases are loaded and nobody out. And we'll see how they score that for Thames at first base. Does he get it? He reaches on a fielder's choice, I believe. That's it. Fielder's choice.
Yeah, actually, that throw from Romine not as bad as I originally thought, Joe. What have you seen from him behind the plate this spring?
He's done a good job. He's one of our young catchers, him and Montero, and they're both fighting for this spot to back up, and he's done a good job. I mean, he's an outstanding receiver. You'll see him block almost every ball that's in the dirt, and he's going to throw well. And you know, for him, it's just playing every day and getting experience as well. I mean, last year was the first year that he really played every day in AA and had a pretty good year.
Can a catcher make the jump from AA to the big leagues?
I did.
See, well, it can be there. It can be done.
So it can be done. Yeah. Yes, it can.
Now, Joe, when you talk about that backup position, Garcia throws a good slider. I mean, are you looking more defense, or do you want somebody who's going to be able to play once or twice a week and maybe hit you a home run or get a big hit?
Well, you know, I think, John, you know that backup catcher has to be able to do his job defensively, and has to do a good job behind the plate calling pitches and doing whatever he needs to do. And whatever he adds offensively is a plus, and that's what we're looking for.
The 0-2 to Laurie, and it's a wild pitch. Little slider that gets past Austin Romine. So Davis will score for the first run for the Blue Jays. Freddie Garcia got ahead in the count 0-2 and just spiked the slider.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell if those are sliders or splits, because the split goes both ways, which can be difficult on a catcher sometimes because you expect it to go one way and sometimes it'll go the other. But Freddie's got so many weapons he can go to keep hitters off balance.
Well, he did spike that one well into the left-handed hitter's batter's box and all the way back to the screen. You know, when
John,
looking at Romine with his mask off, he kind of looks like a young John Flaherty to me.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Good-looking kid. Well, you know, Joe, you talk about Romine and the backup player, you know, having to work a pitching staff, and it was interesting talking to Austin before the game. He had never worked with Freddie Garcia in the spring training game. He'd only caught him on the side early on, and it looked like they were on the same page first couple innings. Now they're going to go out and talk about it.
Yeah, they might have changed what they were doing with the runner on second. I'm not sure, and they want to make sure they're on the same page here. But, yeah, I mean, that's the hard thing about spring training. You have so many pitchers in camp, and a lot of times the young guys, you know, don't get a lot of starts, and they'll see relievers, and they don't see starters in games. The only times they see them is maybe throwing on the side or that first week in the bullpen. And, you know, it's a lot to learn.
1-2 to Laurie. It's a slider up in the zone. He just blocks off up the middle. Melky Mesa comes up with it. A strong throw to Mark Teixeira. So the Blue Jays will score another run and still have runners on first and third with nobody out.
Joe, I want to get your thoughts on the Toronto Blue Jays. They are a division rival, of course. They gave the Yankees sort of a hard time last year. The Yankees were 8-10 against Toronto. And what type of club, when you're playing against them, do you see? I know they got all kinds of power.
Yes, they do. I mean, they're a very offensive club, and their rotation is good. I mean, when you start talking about Cecil and Romero and Morrow, I mean, these are guys that got experience last year and were very, very good. And I think this is going to be a good club. As you said, they've added some speed in Davis. Escobar's a young shortstop. And he's not that young, but I think he's going to be a good player for them. And, you know, and part of their club might depend on Adam Lynn if he has a bounce back year.
Yeah.
What, you know, 2 years ago his year was incredible. Last year he struggled a little bit, but I think he's a very talented player.
It's going to be a very demanding season for teams in the American League East. That's my feeling this year.
I would have to agree with you.
Well, Joe, we're going to let you get back to work. Things were going relatively smooth until you joined us, so we're going to let you go, and hopefully things will turn around for you here in the fourth.
Thanks, John.
We thank Joe Girardi as always. Freddie Garcia. It was 9 up and 9 down through the first 3 innings. Here in the fourth, a little bit of trouble. First and third, nobody out. The Yankees lead 3-2.
And this is the youngster David Cooper, the first baseman at the plate.
Cooper hit a nice ground ball to Robinson Cano, his first at bat, having a nice spring. Going to take a look at a 1-0 fastball and drives it the other way. Melky Mesa on the run, makes the play. A nice running catch. But it'll be a sacrifice fly as Eric Timms will score to tie this ball game up here at 3 in the top of the fourth.
Somewhere Lee Mazzilli is smiling. He's been working with Melky Mesa, who shows off his speed and ability to track down a long fly ball and a strong throwing arm as he gets the ball back in. Melky Mesa working with Lee Mazzilli on going back on fly balls, and he went back well on that one and made the catch.
And Kenny, there's some outfielders who kind of glide after the baseball. That's what Melky Mesa showed me there. So JP Arancibia having a rough spring, struck out his first at bat. He's going to get a lot of playing time for the Blue Jays behind the plate. First pitch swinging and a good slider from Freddie Garcia.
Yeah, Arancibia now hitting under $130 this spring. But I think with young catchers, and Flash, you went through this, you have to learn your own pitchers. You have to learn the hitters throughout the league. There's a lot more for the young catchers. I'll give you catchers, you know, some dap here. You have to learn a lot more than an outfielder has to learn.
Laurie on the run, a throw from Romine on the money, but it's going to be late as Brett Laurie had a great jump.
That's his third steal of the year. The Blue Jays, their manager John Farrell is trying to get some speed into their offense. The Blue Jays hit 257 home runs last year. That led the major leagues, but 53% of their runs were scored as a result of the homers. He's looking for them to diversify their offense. That's why they got Rajai Davis. That's why Anthony Ghost might have a chance to make this team. You know, when you rely on the home runs, not every pitch is thrown up there to be hit for a homer. But the Blue Jays last year did it better than any other team.
Well, it'll be such a different team from the Blue Jays that we've seen in the past when J.P. Ricciardi was there and they would really not run at all. And you see John Farrell's resume, 8 seasons as a pitcher, Indians director of player development and Red Sox pitching coach the last couple of years. An impressive resume and a good slider again from Freddie Garcia. Picks up the second out here in the fourth.
Nowhere do you see managing under John Farrell's resume, because this is his first time managing. Although the Blue Jays interviewed 18 different candidates before they settled on John. Well, I shouldn't say settled. They chose John Farrell as their manager. 18. Alex Anthopoulos, their GM, and his staff was very busy with the candidates. They were very thorough before they picked John Farrell.
2 outs. It'll be Adam Lowen. Takes a first pitch curveball for strike 1. Lowen, the DH today, hit a ground ball to Mark Teixeira, his first at bat.
Yankee fans might remember Lowen as a left-handed pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. He had been a #1 draft pick. Eventually came down with an injury to his arm, which was they had to put screws because the bone kept breaking in his pitching arm, his left arm, and he had surgery. And eventually it was determined he couldn't pitch anymore. This is what he was pretty good against the Yankees. 3-1 with a 2.79 in 5 starts, 5-7 against the rest of Major League Baseball. But against the Yankees, he was very tough. Now the Orioles took him off the 40-man roster, which didn't settle very well with Lowen, and he became a free agent, and the Orioles thought they would re-sign him. Instead, he signed with the Blue Jays.
Well, he strikes out his second at bat, and Freddie Garcia had been so good through 3, struggled a little bit in the 4th. Brought to you in part by the all-new Chevy Cruze. Visit ChevyOffers.com. And by NYSERDA, Energy Innovation Solutions. And by Mazda, Zoom, Zoom. Bottom of the 4th here, beautiful Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, Florida. And Kenny, they have just had an outstanding spring with the weather, much different than last year.
Oh, yeah, last year it was cold and windy and rainy, and this year just about every day has been low 80s, and, well, no, I wouldn't say completely windless, but today not too much wind. Beautiful day.
Tie game here at 3, and it'll be 8-9-1 for the Yankees. Austin Romine, Melky Mesa, and Derek Jeter. Brett Cecil out for his 4th inning of work. Misses with a fastball. You see on our Cadillac scoreboard, 3-5-0 for the Yankees, 3-3 and no errors for the Toronto Blue Jays. Be a 1-1 to Austin Romine and a good changeup from Cecil. That's the pitch we're used to seeing last year.
Well, we got a great crowd on hand here at Steinbrenner Field, but this area around Dale Mabry Boulevard here in Tampa, really busy today. There's a concert across the street.
As Austin Romine pops one up. Looks like it's going to be second baseman Mike McCoy settles under it.
I believe it starts around 4 o'clock. which is about the time this game should be ending. It's Kenny Chesney having a big concert over at the stadium, the Buccaneers Stadium, right across the street. I'm sure they'll be jumping across the street and having a lot of fun.
You got to be a big star to play in that stadium, and that seats a lot of people over there.
Well, there's other people playing. I mean, they got other groups, but Kenny Chesney is the headliner.
The headliner. The Zach Brown band, I was told, traveled with him, so it'll be quite a show. Melky Mesa grounded out his last time. Big swing and a miss, looked like another changeup. It's our new second baseman, Craig Stansberry. And Brett Cecil struggled a little bit early with his location ahead in the count to Melky Mesa here 0-2. Cutter misses down and in. Kenny, I'm going to throw another name at you with Melky Mesa.
Go.
Julio Franco.
Julio Franco.
First time I saw him with his hands held high.
Yeah.
Bat moving. Good changeup. Picks up the strikeout of Melky Mesa.
Now Melky Mesa, all he has to do is play till he's 50 years old, right? Like Franco did. There's a changeup. You talked about the success. You can see the way he's holding it in his hand. He's got a nice drop with the way he brings the ball way back behind him and delivers.
First strikeout of the afternoon for Brett Cecil. With 2 down, I'll bring up Derek Jeter's having a nice afternoon. Couple of base hits, a stolen base, and a run, and the batting average now at .353. Takes a curveball for ball 1. Cutter misses. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to have an impressive young rotation. Ricky Romero, Brandon Morrow, Brett Cecil, Kyle Drabek. Change-up, swing and a miss.
That's what Derek did against left-handed pitching a year ago, .321. 6 of his 10 home runs against lefties.
Ahead in the count, 2-1. Another cutter in on his hands.
Stansberry, we mentioned him at second. McCoy, who was at second, Mike McCoy, moves to right field. And that shouldn't surprise Blue Jay fans because McCoy plays just about everywhere. All 3 outfield positions. Plays second, short, and third. Good utility man.
It'll be a 2-2 on the Yankee captain, Derek Jeter, with 2 outs. The changeup fouled off.
Let's see what happened during this particular foul ball. Ooh.
Back knee.
Right off the, just above the knee. Good thing it was above it. That's something you're trying not to do when you're hitting.
I guess you could say let the ball travel deep, which is always a good thing. Another curveball, rolls it to third. Brett Lowry across the diamond. Another high throw. David Cooper able to make the play. So Brett Cecil has an easy 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. Tuesday afternoon, our spring training coverage continues on Yes when the Yankees head to Sarasota to take on the Orioles. Complete coverage starts at 1 o'clock as Ken Singleton and I are back to bring you the call. Yankees-Orioles, it all starts Tuesday at 1 o'clock, only on Yes.
Yeah, road trip for Flashing. Myself headed down to Sarasota, about an hour south of here. Here's Anthony Gose, the center fielder. This guy has a world of speed. As we look at our Audi scoreboard, 3-3. Here we are in the top of the fifth. It's reminiscent of Kenny Lofton. What do you think?
Well, I think he just took a big swing like Kenny Lofton did.
Right.
You know, kind of a leadoff guy who got a little bit older in his career and started swinging for the fences a little bit. But you're right, the Blue Jays very excited about his athletic ability.
If he turns out to be like Kenny Lofton, he'll have himself a pretty good leadoff hitter. Swung on and missed on an off-speed pitch, and fifth strikeout for Freddie Garcia, including the last three batters that he's faced.
Looked like that split finger fastball that Joe Girardi was talking about in the fourth, and good movement down and away. Outstanding strikeout pitch.
Here is Mike McCoy, who started out at second base but now is in right field. And he takes a pitch in there for a called strike.
Yeah, Kenny, I watched Garcia pitch, and he'd be a fun guy to catch because you really got to think with him, you know, get into a rhythm and get into his head a little bit on what he wants to throw in certain counts.
Good breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike two.
Yeah, he's locked in right now, 3 strikeouts in a row. Good slider there, down and away. You see the last 5 seasons, battled some injuries along the way. When healthy, a proven winner.
A teaser, and McCoy wouldn't chase it. A ball and 2 strikes. Tried to get him to chase another one. That's a splitter in the dirt, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. McCoy is actually listed as an infielder, but as I said before, he can play just about anywhere. Played 46 games in Toronto last year and hit 195. Spent 53 games at the AAA level. Did he go too far? Yes, he did. That's the first base umpire who punches him out. Looks like Dan Iasonia over there now.
Yeah, moved over to first base, and we've seen a lot of this afternoon. The check swings that the Blue Jays have not been able to hold up. That shows you there's a little bit of life, a little bit of deception from Freddie Garcia. Racking up the strikeouts, 4 in a row now.
4 in a row, 6 overall for Garcia. And last inning, after giving up 3 runs on 3 hits, he actually ended last inning with a couple of strikeouts, and he's picked up 2 more in a row here in the 5th. Here's Stansbury, who takes a pitch for a called strike. He took over at second base, and McCoy moved to right. Rajai Davis out of the ball game. Greg Stansbury, last year Portland. 8 homers, 32 runs batted in. Tried to check a swing. There's another check swing. And strike 2.
It'll be interesting to see if Freddie Garcia works through a clean 5th inning. I know the Yankees wanted to try to get him up to 75 pitches, maybe 80. He's been very efficient here this afternoon.
Foul back to the screen, and the count holds at 0 balls and 2 strikes.
Mentioned in the scouting report, a big afternoon, a big opportunity for Freddie Garcia coming off a rough outing his last game. Looks to be a little sharper here this afternoon. The Yankees are going to have a tough decision that back end of the rotation.
That's his fastball, and it's a ball and 2 strikes, 89 miles an hour. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Little bouncer. Going to be a tough play. No, it's a foul ball. So Stansbury will have to turn around and come back with a count of a ball and 2 strikes. Freddie Garcia, nickname is the Chief. And so far this inning, he's been in charge. A couple of strikeouts, 4 in a row overall, 6 in the ball game. Outside of ran into a dry spell in the 4th where he gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. He retired the first 9 men that he faced in this game. Here is the 1-2 pitch. Tried to check his swing. Did he go around too far? No appeal. I guess he held up. Garcia, 6 strikeouts, no walks. The veteran trying to make his move to earn a spot in the Yankees starting rotation. Here is the 2-2 pitch, and it's hit in the air to left center field. Going back is the left fielder Nunez, still on the run, still going, and he makes the catch. A nice running catch by Eduardo Nunez for the final out here in the top of the 5th inning. Believe it or not, he's an infielder by trade, going far and wide to make this catch. And it's a 3-3 game as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Eduardo Nunez will lead it off for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 5th inning in a 3-3 ball game, and you can see that right on the Audi scoreboard. Brett Cecil started for the Blue Jays. He's in there. He's given up 3 runs on 5 hits. And that pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 1-1.
Well, Eduardo Nunez ran a long way in a nice over-the-shoulder athletic catch on the warning track. I'm sure the Yankee coaching staff has to be pleased, and Lee Mazzilli as well, Kenny.
Ball hit hard on the ground. Escobar on the backhand shows off the strong arm, and there's 1 up and 1 down for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 5th. This is Nunez, who they all know he's an infielder by trade. And how about that? I like the pitcher waiting for you.
Well, I know Freddie Garcia, he knows he made a bad pitch, a hanging slider to Stansberry, and he drilled it, so a little appreciation for the left fielder, Nunez.
Here's Mark Teixeira. Flied out and grounded out 0 for 2. Takes a pitch for a called strike over the outside corner. 344 with 3 runs batted in this spring. How about that on base percentage? 432. That's in the dirt. It's a ball and a strike.
Well, good news for Mark Teixeira, having a solid spring, still looking for his first home run, but the batting average and on base percentage very impressive.
Yeah, he's hit the ball very well during the course of spring training. Just hasn't gotten one to go as of yet. Ball is hit hard to right center field. On the move is Ghost, and he's not going to get it. Ball rolls to the warning track, and Teixeira with another solid hit, a double to the gap in right center. And he's at second with 1 out.
Well, nice piece of hitting by Mark Teixeira, hitting right-handed against the lefty Brett Cecil. And he gets a breaking ball on the outer half, maybe a changeup, and just stays on it and drives it the other way. You take a swing like that and you say, okay, my right-handed stroke is right where it needs to be. Let's get the season started.
I think back to the first pitch that he took for a strike. It might have been a changeup over the outside corner, and he decided to do something with it. Drove it the other way. Here's Alex Rodriguez, has a double and a walk. He's 1 for 1. Ball is lined foul towards Blue Jays bullpen. Strike one. A-Rod drove in a run in the first inning when he doubled in to drive in Derek Jeter. And he scored ahead of the home run by Robinson Cano, who's on deck. Yankees scoring their 3 runs in the first inning against Brett Cecil. That's upstairs, and it's a ball and a strike.
You know what, Kenny, I watch Alex Rodriguez, and he kind of lays that bat on his right shoulder as a timing mechanism. He started that at the end of last year, and he's carried it in. See it laying on his right shoulder, and obviously a batting average up over 420. It is working for him this spring.
1-1 pitch is fouled back. Now, fans, if you look closely at Alex's face, you'll see that little bulb on the left side of his face. You know, in the old days, it used to be chewing tobacco and maybe some gum. Well, nowadays, players go with the sunflower seeds. But one thing I was always told by the player, I didn't chew tobacco. They would always say, if you're a right-handed hitter, put it in your right cheek, because when you put it in your left cheek, it pinches your left eye. And it makes it a little harder to see the ball. That pitches up and in for a ball. Throw to second, and Teixeira gets back. You know, Rodney Carew used to chew tobacco, and he would always keep it. He was a left-handed hitter. He would always keep it in his left cheek, so that wouldn't have that little bulge. Now his seeds are in his left pocket there. Change up is downstairs. So that's. Did you chew tobacco when you played?
You know what? When I was a young player, I did. I'm actually embarrassed about it and was able to quit in '96 cold turkey. And I was just thinking it's nice to see Alex Rodriguez going with the sunflower seeds and chewing tobacco so bad, as everybody knows.
3 balls and 2 strikes. Full count on A-Rod. 3-3 ball game. Runner in scoring position. Payoff pitch. Fouled back, and he had a good swing.
It was interesting. The take before that swing right there, Alex Rodriguez off balance a little bit, and you could see in his body language was not happy with himself. He's had a good pass right there. The only player in Major League history to have 100 RBIs in 14 different seasons.
That is some kind of production. And I really believe before A-Rod's said and done, he will be the all-time leader in runs batted in. The all-time leader right now is Henry Aaron. Breaking ball foul at the plate, and A-Rod is really not that far behind him. Cecil with another 3-2 pitch. In the dirt, and A-Rod has walked for the second time.
Well, Alex is going to be pleased with that at bat. Able to look at some changeups, some breaking balls in the dirt. John Farrell, new manager in Toronto, looking on.
A-Rod currently 17th on the all-time. He's going to be passing Dave Winfield maybe on opening day. Hank Aaron, the all-time leader. 2,297 runs batted in. They had that shot of John Farrell. He inherits somewhat of a very good but young starting staff with these Toronto Blue Jays. Cecil, Ricky Romero, Brandon Morrow. Man, he's got good stuff.
Yeah, Brandon Morrow threw yesterday against the Yankees.
Pitches a strike to Cano. Cano has hit a home run and lined out to short. His first home run of the spring, deep over the wall in right center field in the first inning. He picked on a 3-2 pitch.
Well, we mentioned Robinson Cano, the low batting average coming into today's game. He has had back-to-back productive at bats. The home run, obviously, and then the line drive the other way against the lefty. Always a good sign.
2 on, 1 out, 3-3 ball game. Pitch is blooped foul. That got in on his hands. Check out what the Blue Jays rotation is projected to be. Romero, Morrow, Flash mentioned the outing he had yesterday. Cecil, Kyle Drabek. Well, they got in the deal for Roy Halladay, and Jesse Litch returning. He hadn't pitched much the last couple of years because of the Tommy John surgery. Now John Farrell knows young pitchers.
Yes, he does.
Responsible for Clay Buchholz and John Lester. They're probably 1 and 2 in the Red Sox rotation right now. Upstairs for a ball. Ball and 2 strikes on Cano. And the Blue Jays did trade away Sean Markham, but the feeling was some of these other pitchers could step in and get the job done. Cano behind on the count. Teixeira stands at second, a potential go-ahead run. Upstairs again, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
See that pitch count at 92 pitches. An elevated number. I mentioned earlier Freddie Garcia was looking for maybe 75 or 80, but John Farrell stretching out his young lefty, getting that pitch count up, getting him ready for beginning of the season.
Boy, after this outing, he should be ready. Cano hits one hard but foul down the left field line. Well, Cecil got off to a rough start. He threw 30 pitches in the first inning.
It's what spring training's all about, getting a pitcher to the point where he's fatigued, then have him battle through it a little bit. Get ready for your next outing.
Cano hits it on a ground foul. He's putting in a representative at bat.
He's doing a nice job. Looks like he's thinking the other way, and he got a fastball in, and he was able to take care of it pretty easy. I mentioned the 2 at bats this afternoon have been impressive. And maybe Robinson Cano finding something at the right time in spring training, and you ride it right on into the season.
Cano was impressive during the postseason for the Yankees last year. 4 home runs in the championship series against the Texas Rangers. He's about the only Yankee who really hit well in that series. Breaking ball is line foul. This one in the Yankee bullpen. And Cano hit .343 against Texas. Some of those pitchers will be in the game. Right now, not on call. Mariano scheduled to pitch today. Oh, yeah. Sure the fans will stick around for that. 2-2 pitch once again, and it's high ball 3. So Cano has fought the count full. Always call this the put up or shut up pitch. Wanted to get the pitcher to 3-2. That is Bruce Walton with the goatee right there. And now the pitching coach for the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's see if the runners go. They do not go. The 3-2 pitch is fouled off again by Cano.
Nice battle here between Robinson Cano and Brett Cecil, and you know that fatigue has to be a factor with Cecil at this point. The pitch count getting close to 100. He's throwing everything he has at Robinson Cano, and he's fouling off some tough pitches.
You know, prior to Cano's at bat, A-Rod had a lengthy at bat. That's how pitchers get tired. Fans, remind you this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. This will be the 10th pitch to Robinson Cano. It's on the way. And there's a fly ball to center field. Ghost went back and now can't make the play. The ball will drop in for a base hit. A bad read by the center fielder, and Cano gets a single. The bases are loaded with 1 out.
Well, you see Ghost coming in. He's not going to be able to make the play, but he actually took a step or 2 back with the big swing from Robinson Cano. Looked like he was jammed a little bit. He went back flat-footed. He's trying to make up some ground. He cannot do it. A good read by Alex Rodriguez, was able to see that ball in front of him. He gets into second base easily, and Mark Teixeira scampers to third.
That's a good point about Alex's base running, because a lot of base runners would have thought he was going to make the catch and been forced at second. So Cecil's out of the ball game. We're going to step aside as the Blue Jays go to the bullpen here in the 5th inning. So Brett Cecil leaves after 4 2/3 innings and leaves the bases loaded for Carlos Villanueva. Those are his numbers with the Brewers last year. Cecil's afternoon is done. Make that 4 1/3 innings. Yankees have the bases loaded in 1 out. And Jorge Posada. Jorge's been hit by a pitch and had a single. He's up there in a prime time situation right now. Bases loaded and 1 out. First pitch, a breaking ball, is down and in for ball 1.
Let's see if Jorge takes advantage here. A good situation to hit. Mark Teixeira at third base. Alex Rodriguez at second, and Robinson Cano at a base hit at first. Look for a ball out over the plate and try to get some air underneath it. Play to the big part of the field.
Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
Stay away from that ball on the ground. See if Jorge hunts a fastball out over the plate here. 2-0.
You know, Jorge's done something that no other Yankee in their history has done. He's hit home runs in more ballparks than any other Yankee. 28 different parks he's homered in. And it's in there for a strike. 2-1.
Sure, he's had plenty of home runs here at Steinbrenner Field.
Those don't count. I'm talking
count in my book.
The 2-1 pitch is hit hard to right field, and it's going to be in there for a base hit. 1 run will score as Teixeira crosses home plate. The bases remain loaded, and the Yankees now lead 4-3. Posada's second hit of the afternoon drives in a run.
Well, he's sitting on a fastball the whole at bat, and he finally got one. Villanueva threw him a 2-0 changeup that he took. Comes back, tries to sneak a fastball by Jorge Posada. Not a good idea. Drills it into right field. Base hit, RBI. Good swing, looking for a fastball. Finally got it and did not miss it.
Bases remain loaded for Andruw Jones, who was walked and hit into a double play. And another breaking ball, and that's upstairs for ball 1. You know, think about Jorge and all those ballparks he's homered in. There were a lot of teams building new ballparks, getting new venues, and Jorge played during that era where cities were getting new ballparks to play in, teams were getting new ballparks to play in. Two 2-0 the count on Jones now. The Yankees have a chance to put a big number on the board here. They lead it 4-3, scoring 3 in the first, 1 more here in the 5th. .2-0 pitch, bouncing ball towards third. Lowry to second for 1 on the first, and there's a double play for the second time. Andruw Jones bounds into a double play, but the Yankees do pick up 1, and they lead it 4-3. Well, fans, Yankees opening day is Thursday, March 31st, when the Yankees open their 2011 season against the Tigers in the Bronx. Complete coverage on Yes starts at noon with an extended Tri-State Ford pregame. Then Michael Kay and I bring you all the action from Yankee Stadium. Tigers, Yankees, opening day coverage starts Thursday, March 31st at noon, only on Yes. First pitch is swung on by Escobar and driven deep to left center field, and this time Nunez cannot haul it in. Escobar is the second. He's going to turn and hold on with a double. A throwback to second. Doesn't get him. It's a two-base hit for Escobar. Jumps on the first pitch here in the 6th inning.
Well, Nunez, who made a nice running over-the-shoulder catch earlier in the ballgame, cannot come up with this one. Ran a long way right on the warning track. You mentioned Escobar, first pitch swinging, gets one up in the air. Nunez covering a lot of turf. Once he turned around and looked at the wall, Kenny, it looked like he was in trouble.
Might need a little more experience. Remember, Yankee Stadium left field is among the toughest in the major leagues to play. Here's Eric Thames, the left fielder for the Toronto Blue Jays. Runner at second, the tying run at second for the Jays. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. Like a split finger, swung on and missed by Thames. Bouncing ball right back to Garcia. Turns and checks the runner. Escobar stays at second, and Thames is thrown out for out number 1. You know, when you think about the Yankees and the Red Sox and, you know, his big rivalry, when you think of, just think of the left fields at Yankee Stadium, how much room there is. Then you got Fenway Park. It's like a postage stamp compared to the left field at Yankee Stadium.
Well, there'll be a new left fielder in Boston this year, Carl Crawford. So we'll see how he adjusts to playing the wall at Fenway Park.
If I were him, I would get the phone number of Carl Yastrzemski, Jim Rice, guys who have played it before. Here's Brett Lowry. You think he should call Manny?
He might want to lose that phone number.
Manny's going to play some left field for the Rays this year. I saw that the other day. No response?
No response to that. I think Manny should DH and worry about staying healthy all year. And you know what? Tampa's going to be an interesting team.
Oh, yeah.
Flying under the radar, not getting a lot of attention this spring.
The 0-1 pitch, and Lowry hits a ground ball towards short for Jeter. Gobbles it up and throws the first just ahead of the hustling Lowry. And that's out number 2. The ball wasn't hit very hard, and Jeter kind of laid back a little and relied on the throwing arm to pick up the out. 2 down.
Doesn't know a whole lot about Lowry, and I'll tell you what, the infielders will pay attention. He gets down the line in pretty good shape.
Remember, he's a rookie trying to hustle himself into a big league job. Here's David Cooper. 4 teams played over 500 in American League East. Only division in baseball could claim that. Blue Jays 11 games back. Very competitive. The Orioles are improved. We'll see them on Tuesday down in Sarasota. The likes of Vlad Guerrero, Mark Reynolds. Derek Lee, I don't know if he's healthy enough to play yet. That pitch is outside for ball. They got 3/4 of a new infield.
The new mindset there with Buck Showalter, the end of last year, really played well down the stretch. And this American League East, you're going to have to earn every victory.
J.J. Hardy at shortstop. That is on the corner for a call strike 1-1. David Cooper playing today. Adam Lind should be the first baseman for the Blue Jays this year. Lyle Overbay, who had been the Blue Jays first baseman for the last few years, now in Pittsburgh. Blue Jays let him walk. Pitch to Cooper. Nice stop by Romine behind the plate.
Yeah, if you remember back to the 4th inning, Joe Girardi said that Garcia will throw a split finger that will go to both sides. Romine does a good job. And here you see the projected defense for the Toronto Blue Jays, what it should look like. You know, the big key for me, Kenny, the guys on the right side there, Lind and Aaron Hill, if they both can have rebound years, Toronto could be dangerous.
Foul ball at the plate. Hill had an off year last year, still hit 26 home runs.
Batting average just over 200.
He's battling a quad injury right now, and Blue Jays hope to get him back and ready for the start of the season.
Well, I guess one of the big question marks, can Batista do what he did last year? 54 home runs, kind of snuck up on the American League and continued it all the way through the season, signed a nice contract. He will be the one guy everybody, I'm assuming, will pitch around this year.
Ball is pulled foul. The last 2 seasons for Adam Lind, you can see both big years in 2009 and big drop-offs in 2010. 35 home runs, 114 runs batted in for Lind, 36-108 for Hill. And in the next season, not nearly as good, not nearly the production. Cooper takes it low, and the count has run full at 3-2. You know, I think Hill has already won the comeback player of the year once.
He's got a chance again, you're saying?
Win it again. Yankee manager Joe Girardi looking on as Yankees lead by a score of 4-3. Pitch is hit high and deep, and there goes the lead. David Cooper with a 2-run home run completely out of Steinbrenner Field. And the Blue Jays lead by a score of 5-4. That ball was tagged. Cooper's second home run of the spring.
You can see Freddie Garcia not happy with himself, and it looks like it's a slider down and in. Talk about it all the time. The left-handed hitters, they like that spot. The bat head just seems to drop into it perfectly. A long home run, 2-run shot. When you're a veteran pitcher, you've seen it before. You can tell the body language. He knows where this one is going to end up.
Bouncing ball to it short for Derek Jeter off the bat of Arancibia. He's thrown out, and that's going to do it. But the Blue Jays jump back in front. 2-run home run gives them a 5-4 lead. '11 Yankee season tickets are now on sale. Season ticket plans offer a number of great benefits, including savings of game day ticket prices. Several ticket plans also include postseason benefits. Season ticket plans are available on a full season and partial season basis, starting with an 11-game plan. To buy your season ticket plan today, call the number 212-YANKEES or log on to Yankees.com. Here we go, bottom of the 6th inning. Austin Romine's going to lead it off. He's hitting to a fielder's choice and popped out to second, 0 for 2. Blue Jays 5, Yankees 4. Pitches outside, ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Carlos Villanueva in their relief of Brett Cecil. is hit in the air towards right field. Coming over is the right fielder McCoy, who makes the catch for 1 out. Here's Eduardo Nunez not making the play in left center field.
A tough over the shoulder catch, and you see Robbie Thompson, third base coach, works with the outfielders. What do you say, Kenny? School is in session?
Yeah, I think he's telling him, try and get back to a spot. You know, don't try and make that over shoulder. It looks nice. I mean, but not everybody's Willie Mays, you know?
Yep.
So get back there and you kind of turn and then make the catch if you can. Here's Melky Mesa. Good curveball in there for a strike. Mesa's grounded out and struck out. He's 0 for 2. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Following Mesa will be Derek Jeter. Count is 2-1. Outside of third, under the hand of Robbie Thompson, the count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Robbie Thompson, a valued member of the Yankees coaching staff. And he's originally from Canada, so he knows his Toronto Blue Jays.
Sure does.
Inside for ball. Speaking of that, I just was reading a note in the Blue Jays notes that their games, 15 of their games, are going to be on radio going to Montreal in French this year. Selected games. So Montreal trying to get back into maybe short baby steps, getting back to the big leagues. This pitch is inside for a ball, and Mesa draws a walk. So he's on with 1 out. He's got good speed. Arancibia talking it over with Villanueva. Jeter comes to the plate. Derek's had himself a good afternoon. He is 2 for 3 with a run scored and his first stolen base of the spring.
Oh, we'll pay attention to Melky Mesa here at first base. Kenny, you mentioned he has good speed. We'll see if he tries to make something happen here. The Yankees down by 1 in the 6th.
31 stolen bases at Tampa last year. They're paying attention to him right away. Although the difference is pitchers in the minor leagues do not hold runners as well, and catchers, their mechanics aren't quite as refined, so their throwing isn't quite as good.
Yeah, I would imagine the Yankees would want to see Arancibia behind the plate and see what kind of a thrower he is. I mean, he has a reputation as a 30 home run guy, can really swing the bat in the minor leagues. Defensively, maybe not as advanced, so we'll see if the Yankees force the issue and get a look at the young catcher for the Blue Jays and how he throws.
Mesa with a decent lead over at first. There he goes. Here's the throw to second, and he is out. Mesa can't believe it. But the tag, I think, right on the rump before he got to second base.
Well, Arancibia has some arm strength, and they said he's been working with Jose Molina, the backup for the Blue Jays, a good guy to learn from. Mesa gets a decent jump. See the throw, tag right on his backside like you mentioned, Kenny. Stansberry puts a tag down. But he has some arm strength. Got rid of it in pretty good shape.
He did. The throw was a little offline, but got it down there pretty quickly, and Stansberry made the tag. So 2 down now. Jeter at the plate. He takes a pitch for a called strike.
Take another look. It is a perfect pitch to throw on, a fastball up. Maybe tails a little bit to the second base side of the bag, but a lot of arm strength. Good throw.
1-1 pitch to Jeter is a ball. 2 balls and a strike. Well, if the Yankees learn anything, they learned that he's got a decent arm, huh?
He does. Well, sorry, Kenny, it'll be a transition. John Buck was the receiver for the Blue Jays last year, caught a majority of the time with Jose Molina.
They let him go as a free agent. He signed with the Marlins, feeling that they've got a former #1 pick ready to come on. MVP of Pacific Coast League, but primarily because of his hitting.
In the PCL, a league where the ball really flies.
Ball was fouled off. I never had a chance to play much out west. I was in the California League for a while. Ball flew in that league.
See, maybe that was my problem. I played on the East Coast, the Eastern League, the International League, where the ball didn't fly, and my batting average and home run reflected that. Needed 1 year out in the PCL to feel good about myself, and never happened.
2-2 pitch is into the air towards right center, and it appears that Jeter has his third hit of the afternoon. This ball rolls all the way to the wall, and Jeter's going to hold up at second with a 2-out double. Now with 2 singles and a 2-base hit this afternoon at Steinbrenner Field.
Another sign. Mark Teixeira went the other way, hitting right-handed. Derek Jeter gets a slider out over the plate. Nothing new for him. Drilling it to the gap. Get into second base easily, and his afternoon will be over. And a good swing. Going to pay attention to that front foot and the stride with all the work with Kevin Long, and it looks like it's paying off.
First double of the spring for Derek Jeter, and that will end his day 3 for 4. Bernier is now running at second base. Doug Bernier. A good afternoon for the Yankee captain, and here is Nunez, who's 0 for 3. Tying run out at second base. It appears he's getting that stride thing down. We should all stride so well. Nunez takes a pitch, and that just missed. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
A couple of ground balls on a fly out for Nunez. Looks a little bit more patient to me this spring, Kenny. Kind of laying off some of those tough pitches. Good take on a 1-0 slider just off the plate.
Bouncing ball towards the middle into center field for a base hit. Bernier around in third. Here's a throw to the plate. It is offline, and the ball goes all the way to the screen. Nunez the second, now on his way to third, will make it safely there. The Yankees have tied it. It's a 5-5 ball game. Eduardo Nunez with a clutch 2-out single.
Well, he got a slider out over the plate on a 2-0 count. Nice job not trying to pull it. Stays right on it. Drives it right back up the middle. Kenny, you mentioned Goss, the center fielder, very talented, but a poor throw offline trying to get Doug Bernier scoring. Nunez will be on the run. It gets past the catcher, Arancibia, and then he advances all the way to third base. So a talented center fielder has made some mistakes.
Teixeira swings, drives it to deep right field. Going back is McCoy, and he makes the catch. And that's going to end the bottom of the 6th inning. But Nunez, with the big hit in the inning, has tied the game at 5 as we head to the 7th. Well, fans, follow the New York Yankees with MLB.com at Bat 11 for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. It's spring training scores, stats, highlights, live audio, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Yankees.com for details.
So we take a look. Steinbrenner Field and our Ford scoreboard. We have a tie ball game at 5. 10 hits for the Yankees, 5 for the Blue Jays, 1 error for the Blue Jays. And we also have a new pitcher this afternoon in the 7th inning. Mariano Rivera will get his inning of work. Used to seeing him pinch the 9th. He pitched the 7th this afternoon. And he will face 8, 9, and 1 for the Blue Jays. Adam Lowen to lead off here in the 7th. First pitch fastball misses. And just a fantastic year in 2010, an all-star, the great ERA, 33 saves, only 11 walks. Strike to even up the count. Going with the high socks this spring training.
New look.
Another fastball for a strike, and I was mistaken. He's going to face 7, 8, 9 this inning, Adam Lowen.
You know, think about it. Wearing the high socks, he made his first appearance. New look, but same old Mo. And he struck out the side on 12 pitches in his first outing. There you go.
Just perfectly located on the outer half for strike 3. First out here in the 7th.
Let's check out this resume. 16 years, all with the Yankees. Made the All-Star team 11 times. 5-time world champion, 559 saves. Second all-time to Trevor Hoffman. I mean, he has a shot at that this year. 8-1 in postseason. Trevor Hoffman retired.
A great career for Trevor Hoffman. Anthony Gose, 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Fouls off a cut fastball in on the hands, and I got to believe Kenny Austin Romine behind the plate. Never gets old catching a future Hall of Famer, Mariano Rivera. Big thrill, even though it's the 7th inning of a spring training game.
It's got to be a thrill as a hitter to step in there against him. Until now.
Little backdoor cutter for strike 3. 2 strikeouts in a row, both looking the Blue Jays.
It's amazing how he sets up one pitch to the next one. Remember the cutter in on the hands that was fouled off? Now you got the hitter thinking inside all the way. Is he coming in there again? And he can paint that outside corner, and you're back in the dugout.
Well, John Farrell, the new manager of the Blue Jays, has seen this before from Mariano Rivera. He faces Mike McCoy playing right field now. Takes a first pitch strike. Ground out and a strikeout this afternoon. A little sinker in on his hands. He fights off to first base. A new first baseman, Jorge Vasquez El Chato, makes the play. So Mariano Rivera, an easy 1-2-3 inning with a couple of strikeouts. We are back for the bottom of the 7th. Tie ball game here at Steinbrenner Field, 5-5. Alex Rodriguez will lead off the bottom of the 7th. Takes a fastball for strike one, having a nice afternoon. Double and an RBI, couple of walks. Facing Carlos Villanueva. Next fastball for strike two, and a new catcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. As you see on our Ford scoreboard, we're all tied at 5. Ryan Buddy behind the plate for the Blue Jays. Alex Rodriguez behind in the count, 0-2. Fastball misses.
Good day for the Yankee offense. Pounding out 10 hits, getting to double figures. It's spread throughout the lineup. Jeter with the big day with 3 hits.
Slider fouled off.
Cano's got a couple, including a home run.
Yeah, we're getting to this point in spring training, the 7th inning. The regulars stretched out, getting 4 at bats this afternoon. There'll be a 1-2 to Alex Rodriguez, another breaking ball down in the dirt.
Don't want to leave out Jorge Posada. He got a couple hits today, one from each side of the plate, drove in a run.
Jorge getting ready for his next at bat. 2-2 from Villanueva. It looked like a changeup middle of the plate. Alex Rodriguez swings through it for the first out here in the 7th. Let's take a look at our game summary, which is presented by Lincoln. Tie ball game, like I mentioned, 5-5. Robinson Cano, a 2-run home run. Freddie Garcia, 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs. Did not walk a batter, and he had 6 strikeouts. And Brett Cecil, 4 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, and only 1 strikeout for him with 98 pitches.
Kind of an unusual day for Freddie Garcia. You mentioned the 6 strikeouts, no walks.
Robinson Cano, first pitch swinging, gets underneath a breaking ball. Goss underneath it in center field for the 2nd out.
But he had a couple of stretches, speaking of Garcia, where he just struggled a bit. 4th inning and then the 2-run homer in the 6th inning.
Freddie Garcia, who was sharp at times, and maybe the line doesn't match the performance. His manager John Farrell comes out to make a pitching change. Carlos Villanueva, his afternoon is done. And we will be back to see who he brings in. We are back. The new pitcher, Casey Jansen, for the Blue Jays. Pick it up here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Face Jorge Posada, and you can see the numbers here from last year for Casey Jansen. 5-2 with a 3.67, 63 strikeouts and 68 2/3. Came back from a shoulder injury. Had a productive year out of the pen last year for the Blue Jays.
At one time, he was thought of as being a starter for these Blue Jays. But the shoulder problems now relegated him to the bullpen. He's done a pretty good job. You know, he's bounced back.
I always thought he was a little deceptive, Kenny, with that motion that he has. A lot of leg drive with that back leg. Really drops and drives. Jorge Posada rips one to first base right at David Cooper. So Jorge, who's had a nice afternoon, a couple of base hits and an RBI, hits another ball right on the button. But unfortunately for him, right at David Cooper. We're still tied.
Following Mariano Rivera to the mound will be Mark Pryor, and that's what he has done so far this spring. This will be his 6th appearance, 1.93 ERA, 4 walks, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings, and opponents are hitting just 125 against him. So Pryor, the 3rd Yankee pitcher of the afternoon. Freddie Garcia started. Mariano Rivera, a couple of strikeouts in his lone inning. Here's Pryor's first pitch. A lot of movement on the fastball, and it's inside for ball 1. Here are the changes defensively for the Yankees. In the outfield, it's Pena, Maxwell now, and Jordan Perez in right field. It's Justin Maxwell in center. Ronnie Belliard at third base. Kevin Russo at second. And Jesus Montero now doing the catching. There's a pitch for a call strike. Mark Pryor signed by the Yankees as a free agent over the winter. Trying to work his way back to the big leagues after many arm problems. Great pitcher for the Chicago Cubs. Good breaking ball, swung on and missed, and it's 1-2.
Yeah, good tight spin on that breaking ball down and away from Mark Pryor. That's some good numbers here in spring training, getting an opportunity.
Ooh.
I guess the question, Kenny, can he stay healthy? I mean, can he get a spot in this bullpen and be able to go out there and pitch back-to-back days?
94 on that fastball.
That's the best I think we've seen this spring training. Usually he's been somewhere around 90, 91. A good sign for him and the Yankees right there.
When pitchers had arm problems, a lot of the recovery is a mental recovery. Pitches fouled to the plate, just thinking that I'm not going to hurt myself if I throw the ball, and just throw it the way I want to. 2nd overall pick by the Cubs in the 2001 draft. 18-6 during an all-star season in 2003, and was a pitcher during the Steve Bartman incident in Game 6 of 2003 NLCS. Cubs went on to lose the Marlins. Of course, the Marlins went on to win World Series that year, defeating the Yankees. Call strike 3. Stansbury is gone. So Pryor A little pop on this fastball, Flash.
Yeah, he threw a split finger the pitch before and then rears back. A little bit of movement inside. Stansberry cannot hold up. The pitch was down the middle of the plate anyway.
9 Blue Jays have struck out in this afternoon's game. 6 for Garcia, 2 for Mariano Rivera, now 1 for Mark Pryor. Here's Yunil Escobar, the shortstop. He's had a good day, 2 for 3. Breaking ball, hangs a little high, ball 1. He has scored 2 of the 5 Blue Jay runs. It was Mark Pryor and Kerry Wood. So throwing some rarefied heat in Chicago. Ball is fouled off to the right. A ball and a strike. The youngster gets himself a ball. Another satisfied customer. Be interesting to see if John Farrell has Escobar batting second all season long, because he is up there hacking away. He's not going to walk very often. Took that one for a call strike. Well spotted fastball at the knees on the outside corner.
Yeah, and that's a velocity we're used to seeing as you see John Farrell looking on. About 90. Really has to rely on locating the fastball. See if he comes back to that big power curve down and away.
He's got a nice easy motion. Tried to get him to bite. He wouldn't do so, and the count is 2-2 on Escobar.
But Kenny, you're 100% right with the mental part of a guy coming back from an injury. The ability to kind of rear back and know that you're not going to hurt yourself again. You know, Mark's been out of the game for so long. Maybe he's getting to that point this spring where he has confidence. He's healthy.
Fouled off again by Escobar. Count remains at 2-2. The Yankees have had to like what they've seen so far this spring from Pryor, although he's got, I guess you would call it, more than an outside chance of making the club. I think he feels that he's going to head for Scranton Wilkes-Barre and has to prove himself from there. Once again, the 2-2 pitch to Yunil Escobar. Breaking ball popped in the air to center field. Looked like Maxwell took a step back, but he comes on and makes the catch for out number 2. Justin Maxwell's got 6'5", long and lanky. Young man out of the University of Maryland. You know, I wonder if he played with Cecil.
Well, ACC baseball.
2 outs, nobody on. Here's Eric Thames, the left fielder. He has scored a run. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Checks his swing and did not go. So it's ball 1. 12 pitches thus far for Mark Pryor. I make that 13 for Pryor. Baker's dozen. Two balls and no strikes. The regular left fielder for the Blue Jays this year should be Travis Snyder. Good looking young hitter who had some injury problems last year. Thames lifts one foul back over the Blue Jays dugout.
Well, and our good friend from the old Yankee days, Juan Rivera, right now a Toronto Blue Jay. Give them some right-handed pop.
I'm still amazed that Alex Anthopoulos, the Blue Jays general manager, was able to trade Vernon Wells to the Angels and make them take on the rest of this contract. I think it's $80-something million.
Wow.
Swing and a miss. Good fastball there. You know, Vernon's a good player.
He's going to have to switch positions. Is that right?
He's playing left field now. The Angels actually have 3 center fielders because Torrey Hunter's playing right field. In the inner center for Maxwell, coming on, and it's going to drop in there for a base hit. So Thames has his first hit of the afternoon, and he's on with 2 outs here in the top half of the 8th inning. Mike Napoli and Juan Rivera coming over to the Blue Jays for Vernon Wells, and then Napoli was traded to the Texas Rangers for Frank Francisco, as the Blue Jays are looking to solidify their bullpen. That was 4 days later, so Napoli never got to Toronto, at least. There's a pitch for a called strike to Brett Lowry. So all kinds of movement for the Blue Jays this winter as they try and improve on their 85 victories from a year ago. Throw to first. And Thames is back.
Well, I guess Frank Francisco has a chance to be the closer for the Toronto Blue Jays.
They also have Octavio Dotel, but I think both of them are injured.
Both are hurt.
Yeah. On the corner for a called strike. And this is what Vernon Wells was able to do during his time with the Toronto Blue Jays. Certainly a productive player and a clubhouse leader on that team. Second in hits, second in home runs, second in runs batted in, second in runs scored, second in doubles. Swing and a miss. So he trailed only Tony Fernandez and Carlos Delgado in all those categories. Strikeout. Mark Pryor gives up a hit. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th in a tied game. Bottom of the 8th inning, and Jordan Perez rips at the first pitch and fouls it off. We're in a 5-5 ball game. Moments ago, our Jack Curry busy getting it done, and he had a chance to talk to the Yankee first baseman Mark Teixeira.
Thanks, Kenny. I'm here with Mark Teixeira. And Mark, big spring for you in the sense that you said you wanted to come in here, you wanted to get an early start. Those April doldrums, you wanted to get them out of the way. How is the spring going for you so far?
It's been good so far. Taking a lot of swings, a lot more than I usually do. Cutting back on my workouts a little bit. And, spring training is a time where you get all the rust off you, get the kinks out of the swing. And right now, the swing feels pretty good from both sides.
Now, you've explained to me that you're taking more swings from the left side because that's not your natural side. So how is that side of it going?
It's still coming along. At the end of the day, I'm a right-handed hitter. I just happen to switch hit as well. And my right-handed swing always feels a little bit better early on. Left-handed swing takes some time. But because of that, taking a lot more swings, and my at-bats have felt pretty good left-handed this spring.
Now, when you look at this lineup and you're in the middle of it, and I know you're worried about what you were doing, but what about the potential for what this lineup can do, the kind of havoc you guys can wreak?
Well, we expect to lead the league in runs every single year. We expect to score 5 or 6 runs at least every single game, give our pitchers a lot of support. And with the lineup we have this year, there's no reason that we can't do it again.
You pride yourself on defense. You had a tricky play early in the game. Did you feel that going home, you had the runner straying off third, that was your best bet?
Yeah, well, Davis is so fast, and as soon as I saw him break, I threw home, and, give him credit. He stopped on a dime and got back to third base. If that's me running home, I'm dead out. But, he's so fast, he made a great play.
12 days until opening day. Is this the point in spring training where you start to count those days and you can't wait to get to Yankee Stadium on March 31st?
Yeah, opening day is always fun, and spring training sometimes gets long, but at the same time, we're having a lot of fun down here. The weather's been perfect. We're playing some good baseball, and we can't wait for opening day, but at the same time, we still have some work to do down here.
Well, Mark, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Jack.
Kenny, John, send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Jack. Of course, Jack will be back after the ball game with the spring training report. You want to stay tuned for that, and give you some updates on what happened in today's game and other things happening with the New York Yankees as they get ready. What did you say? 12 days to go until the start of the regular season. Jesus Montero is at the plate with 1 out. Jordan Perez had grounded to second, and that pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Montero a little slow coming around with the bat this spring. And that pitch is upstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck is Ronnie Belliard, the veteran, who took over at third base. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Looked like Montero went fishing. 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees here in the 8th.
Well, it was a nice conversation with Mark Teixeira,
yeah.
Kenny. But you know what? It's got to be one of those things. He's had a great spring. He needs to get off to a good start. First, second, third game, put a couple of hits together so people don't start talking about the slow starts that he usually has.
Here's a veteran, Ronnie Belliard, now at third base, and he takes a pitch a little low. Did he go around? Yes, he did. Strike 1. That is in there for a strike, and it's 0-2. Casey Jansen throwing a lot of strikes, working out of the bullpen for the Jays. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Casey Jansen has faced 4 Yankees, and he's been perfect through an inning and a third. At the end of 8, it's still a 5-5 game. Well, fans, today's game on Yes is brought to you in part by your tri-state area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. By Wells Fargo. Wachovia is now Wells Fargo in the tri-state area. And by Cadillac. Visit CadillacTristate.com to find a dealer near you. Going to the 9th inning in a 5-5 ball game. The new pitcher is Luis Ayala. He's in there for the Yankees now. Last year, AAA, 36 games. He was in different organizations and went 2-10 overall, 6.42, 60 hits in 47 2/3. Only 4 home runs allowed in 47 2/3 innings, so he'll face Cooper. Speaking of home runs, he had a 2-run homer in the 5th and has driven in 3 of the 5 Blue Jay runs today. Also a sacrifice fly in the 4th inning and grounded out in the 2nd. So 1 for 2 with 3 runs batted in for David Cooper. He'll be followed by Buddy and Lowen. And the first pitch to Cooper is a call strike. Mark Pryor worked an inning, gave up a hit, had himself a strikeout, didn't walk anybody. Looked very smooth. Pitches outside, 1-1. Ayala kind of slings the ball to the plate, misses outside, 2 balls and a strike. That usually means there's a little sinking action on the fastball. The captain was kind enough to join Jack Curry down near the Yankee clubhouse. We'll send it down to Jack.
Thanks a lot, Kenny. Well, I'm here with Derek Jeter, and we'll get to the T-shirt in a minute. He's got the Michigan T-shirt showing some pride. We'll get to that, but I have to ask you about the most pressing question you've heard all spring, the swing. 3 more hits today, less of a stride or more of a strideless swing. How was everything feeling for you up there?
Yeah, it's getting there. I mean, it's a work in progress, but I've said it time and time again, I'm not changing my swing. Everyone keeps asking how the new swing is. It's just trying to cut down the stride. So things are going pretty good right now.
The fact that you are making these changes, how confident are you as you're going forward that these are things you'll be comfortable with and be able to just take them into the season and not have to think about it?
Well, I mean, we tried to do it at the end of last year, and it worked out pretty good towards the end. So I'm just carrying it over into this season. We worked real hard in the off season. We've been getting a lot of swings here, and I don't foresee any problems, I hope. I mean, you get to the point where you don't think about it, but I'm getting more and more comfortable.
I know you're not the manager, you're not the general manager, but you're obviously out there today. You see Freddie Garcia, he's fighting for a rotation spot. What did you see out of him on the mound today?
He threw the ball well. You know, Freddie, he pitches to contact, and you know, he gets a lot of guys swinging early in the count, but he also gets some strikeouts too. He's been throwing extremely well all spring, so we've got quite a battle going. We got a lot of guys throwing the ball well.
I know Joe Girardi has tinkered with the lineup a little bit. He had you lead off. He's moved you to 2. I know the answer to this question already before I ask you, but is it a big deal to you whether you're number 1 or number 2 in the lineup?
It doesn't make a difference. I think, you know, every situation may call for you to do something different. So if you're first or second, it doesn't make a difference.
So you're more confident when you put on the Yankee uniform or more confident when you put on the Michigan T-shirt?
Yeah, it's a big win for us yesterday, Jack. Not too many people gave us any credit, but you know, we performed well. We got a tough one coming up, though. So I decided to wear it today.
But you're wondering about the Duke game?
Yeah, it's well, you never know what's going to happen.
We'll see what happens, guys. That's Derek Jeter. I'm going to send it back to you.
Thank you very much, Jack. And the Yankee captain sporting his Michigan T-shirt. Playing Duke next.
Enjoy that win.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question, Kenny.
Yeah.
He kept saying we. He didn't go to Michigan. He's a Michigan fan. I understand that.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's really into it. He's a fan. Yeah, it's right. If he hadn't been drafted number 1 by the Yankees, he was going to Michigan.
I guess the Yankees made it worth his while.
Oh, yeah, I would say so. Over the years, they certainly have. Here's Adam Lowen. We want to thank Jack for running down the Yankee captain, get him to come on camera with us just outside of the Yankee clubhouse. 2 up and 2 down for Ayala. 5-5 game. Lowen takes a pitch for a called strike, and it's now a 2-2 count. I think one thing we should point out, if the Jays do not score here, you go to the bottom half of the inning, and if we should complete 9 innings tied, this game has a chance to end in a tie. Ball is hit in the air down the left field line, and it's twisting. That's going to fall in there. It's a base hit. Lowen rounds first, headed to second, and a head first dive, and he's in with a double. And is now 1 for 4 in the afternoon. A 2-out double. The designated hitter, Adam Lowen.
You can see this pitch from Ayala runs away, and Lowen just stays on it, flips it the other way, but he runs pretty good for a big man, a converted pitcher that you talked about earlier, Kenny. See, Pena comes up with a nice throw.
Has a chance to be the Blue Jays version of Rick Ankiel, who was a pitcher for the Cardinals and struggled somewhat and bounced around a little bit as an outfielder now, but decent hitter. Here is Anthony Gose, who was flied to right and struck out twice. We haven't had a chance to really see his speed this afternoon. He didn't see that. Swing and a miss, strike one. 8 stolen bases for Goss this spring and only been caught one time.
A little late on that fastball right there. It looked like Ayala straightened one out, had a little something extra on it.
Very tardy. We used to call that a Rico swing. Rico tardy. As opposed to Rico Carty, great outfielder for the Braves for years, a batting champion in the National League. The Braves in those days had some great hitters. They had Orlando Cepeda, Hank Aaron, and Rico Carty. Fly ball to center field for Justin Maxwell. He's going to make the catch, and we indeed will go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Yankees have a chance to walk it off. It's a 5-5 game. New pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, a left-hander, Robbie Lewis. 14 games, 6.75, 20 hits in 18 2/3 innings, 15 strikeouts, 8 walks, and 4 homers allowed. And he will face the top of the order. We're going to have a pinch hitter right off the bat for the Yankees. It's going to be Eric Chavez. He'll get a chance to face a left-hander. Chavez, who is having himself a very representative spring training, a veteran from Oakland. Manager Joe Girardi sends him up there to face a left-handed pitcher. So Chavez, a left-handed hitter. It's Robbie Lewis. 5-5 ball game, bottom of the 9th inning. And the first pitch is high for ball 1. Look at his setup on the mound, Flash. He wants you to read his number.
Good numbers there for Eric Chavez this spring, and nothing new for him facing a lefty. As you mentioned, Kenny standing towards first base.
Thrown across his body and hits the outside corner. 1-1.
Everyday third baseman with Oakland when he was healthy, would face lefties. Not a problem for him. Joe Girardi gets a look left on left here in spring training.
Breaking ball fouled off the glove of the catcher, Ryan Buddy, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. Chavez, of course, is one of the top fielding third basemen and an offensive threat for the Oakland A's. 6 straight Gold Gloves. At the end of the season, he just Just mail it to his house. Outside, ball 2-2.
Pretty good pitch from Rami Lewis. Does not get the call. Pretty good slider off the plate. Just missed.
There we go. 13 major league seasons, all with the Oakland A's. 7 seasons of 20+ home runs. And injury problems, only 64 games the last 3 years. Count is now full at 3-2. He's had all kinds of surgeries. Shoulder, back. I believe there's a neck surgery in there somewhere.
Might be the perfect role here in New York. Play a couple of days a week. Try to stay healthy.
Here's the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball lined into right field for a base hit. So the good spring continues. For Eric Chavez, he has a leadoff single and a potential winning run is aboard for the Yankees. Here in the bottom of the ninth.
Well, nice at bat, left on left, working the count full, and he gets another slider, and it's not a bad pitch, down and away. Good extension through the zone. Drills it into right field, leadoff base hit.
Let's see how the Yankees want to play it here. Ramiro Pena comes to the plate. Good bunter. Blue Jays expecting the bunt. Kevin Ahern's now playing third base. He's looking for a bunt. He's in on the grass. There's the bunt, and it's a good one. Going to be a tough play. Lewis recovers and throws out Pena, but give him a sacrifice. He was very good at that last year. Whenever called upon to move a runner across, he would get the job done more often than not.
Yeah, getting congratulated by his teammates. Joe Girardi gives him a little, and it's a perfectly executed bunt. You give Rami Lewis some credit. A nice play. Pick up the out. You're a bench player for the Yankees or any other major league club for that matter. The ability to lay down a bunt in a big spot. Nice job.
Lewis did make a good play going with the bare hand to come up with that. Here's Vasquez. Jorge Vasquez, who's having himself a very good spring. Shown some power. And he's up there with a chance to win the ball game here at the bottom of the ninth inning. And the first pitch a little high, maybe a little away, ball 1.
Oh, I thought Alex Rodriguez had good spring training numbers. Look at those, 483. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Big spot right here, heading to count 1-0. Chance to win this ball game.
Breaking ball, good swing and pulled it foul over towards the Blue Jays dugout. I know Ghost in center field has a lot of speed, but he's playing towards right center. I don't know if I would do that against a left-hander. Big gap in left center field.
Especially when Vasquez just had a slider down and in. A good pitch to pull to that gap.
Moved them back off the plate, and it's 2-1.
Kenny, we saw the numbers in spring training. They're impressive, but even the ability to come in a game late like this situation, you know you're only going to get one at bat. Not the easiest thing to do late in the spring training game. He's hit whether he started, pinch hit late. Opened up a lot of eyes.
Made a lot of bus trips.
Yep.
Chase went out of the zone there a little too anxious, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Only 76 games, 18 home runs, 62 RBIs. Very productive.
Breaking ball, and it's fouled towards the Yankee bullpen and beyond. A little off-speed pitch from Lewis. You know, Vasquez is the type of player, as Montero enjoying his afternoon in the dugout. I say Vasquez is the type of player that opens the eyes of some scouts, because there's various scouts from various organizations, and never know, can end up somewhere else in the major leagues. There's not an opening with the Yankees. 2-2 pitch. Just missed the inside corner. The count is now full, 3-2.
Rami Lewis tries to freeze Vasquez inside with a fastball just off the plate. Showing a good eye this spring.
Payoff pitch on the way. Swung on and missed. The ball gets away from the catcher. Buddy recovers and throws out the runner. But on the play, I should say, Chavez moves over to third. So strikeout 2-3 on the putout.
Jorge Vasquez did not realize that the catcher Ryan Buddy had missed this pitch, so he hesitates for a little bit, and then he sees it going back behind him. A strong throw from Buddy. Like you said, Kenny, Chavez moves him to third base.
So at 2 outs, runner at third, 90 feet away from a Yankee victory, and Kevin Russo is at the plate. And he'll take inside for ball 1. For the Yankees, 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors. For the Jays, 5 runs, 7 hits, and they have made 1 error. There's a call strike on a breaking ball.
Kevin Russo in spring training 2 for 17. I've always liked his approach at the plate. Nice and simple. Not a whole lot of movement with his lower body. Uses his hands to hit.
Another breaking ball and another one in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
2 tough pitches back to back to Russo. A slider down and in. 1 back door in the outside half. Eric Chavez taking a short lead off at third base. Got to be thinking about a possibility of a wild pitch here. Get a good jump off at third.
One-two pitch lifted high in the air to right field. Drifting back is the second baseman. Coming on is the right fielder McCoy, who makes the catch, and that's going to do it for the Yankees here at the bottom of the 5th. And let's keep an eye on Joe Girardi. It appears that the Yankees and the Blue Jays, is this game going to continue? The Yankees have the Well, today after the game, stick around for an all-new Yankees spring training report presented by Lincoln, as the Yes team continues the countdown to opening day with the latest roster moves and all the news from Tampa. Yankee spring training report live today after the game only on Yes. You're looking at Jesus Montero, the young Yankee phenom catcher. We'll hear from him on our spring training report. Some changes for the Yankees. Chavez is now at third base. Rafael Belliard is moved to second base. It is Ramiro Pena at short. Kevin Russo is now in left field. And the new pitcher is Ryan Pope. And he is facing Mike McCoy, leading it off here in the top of the 10th inning. Pope delivers. Ball's hit hard. Single into left field. So McCoy gets it started for the Blue Jays here in the top of the 10th. At Double-A Trenton. They were blessed to have Pope on their team. 46 games. 88 hits in 94 to third innings. 85 strikeouts. That's impressive. Here's Craig Stansberry. And the Yankees believe he will be bunting. He is, and he takes a pitch outside for ball one. Both Chavez and Vasquez charging from the corners. Stansberry took over for Rajai Davis, who started the game. Davis had himself a 1-for-2 afternoon with a run scored. Squares the bunt again, takes another pitch high for ball two. 2 balls and no strikes.
One of the lessons you learn in big league camp, if you're Pope, throw strikes, they're trying to give you an out. Chavez at third, Vasquez at first. Trying to give you an out, throw a fastball down the middle and let him sacrifice bunt.
Let's see if the Blue Jays change things up here now that he's ahead. 2 balls and no strikes. You know, you might be thinking the same thing. John Farrell might be saying he's going to throw him right down the middle. Why don't I send a runner and try for a hit and run instead? Nope, the bunt. And it's a good one. Pope looks, throws on the first for the out. So a well executed sacrifice bunt by Craig Stansberry puts the go ahead run at second base.
Yeah, he has a decision. He can go to second base if he wants to. The catcher Montero should be barking signals. Decides to take the easy out at first.
First pitch is upstairs, ball one to Jonathan Diaz, who took over at shortstop. That is in there for a strike. Yunel Escobar had a very good day. He was 2 for 4 with a couple of runs scored. Single and a double. In the dirt, knocked down by Montero. And that'll move the count to 2 balls and a strike.
Good block by Montero. We talked a lot about Romine doing a good job behind the plate defensively, and a good block right there from top prospect Jesus Montero.
If you're wondering where the Yankees are going to be tomorrow, they'll be on the road in Clearwater to take on the Philadelphia Phillies. CC Sabathia will get a start against Joe Blanton. There's one to the corner, 2-2. That's at beautiful Bright House Field in Clearwater, Florida. Tell you what, the spring training venues nowadays, can't wait to get to spring training. Pitch is high for a ball. New runner at second base is Bradley McElroy. He's the pinch runner. And he's got himself a decent lead. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and it's bounded towards short. Pena charges, comes up with a good hop, throws on the first, got rid of it quickly, and that's out number 2. McCoy moves over to third base. I should say McElroy moves over to third base.
Well, Ramiro Pena came into this game, played left field. Now he's moved to shortstop. Nice job going to his right. Joe Girardi is going to make a pitching change.
Joe Girardi is going to bring in a left-hander with 2 outs here in the 10th. Left-hander out of the bullpen for Joe Girardi is Steve Garrison. There's his numbers with Portland last year in AAA, 1-3, 8.87. 7 walks, 17 strikeouts in 22 to third innings, 5 home runs allowed. And he comes in to face a left-handed hitter. Eric Thames in a 5-5 game. Blue Jays have a runner at third with 2 outs. There's Ryan Pope, who started the inning, gave up a hit. And runner at third is his responsibility. Here's Thames, had a bloop single his last time. He's gone all the way in this ball game. He's 1 for 4. Late swing and a miss. Strike 1.
A good slider from Garrison. Some pressure on Montero. Every time you call an off-speed pitch, you got to be in position to block the baseball. Runner on third. McElroy taking his lead.
There's another one, and that drops over the corner. Quickly ahead of the left-handed hitter. No balls and 2 strikes. Couldn't get Thames to bite, and the count goes to 1-2. Manager Joe Girardi getting his ball club ready to start the season in 12 days. Inside of 2 weeks, be playing for real. Ball is hit high and very deep to right field. Perez going back, and he's at the wall and makes the catch. Thames came close. Didn't get it out of here. Still tied at 5. Yankees chance to win it in the 10th. Well, we were waiting for Winston Abreu. Here he is in the bottom of the 10th inning in a 5-5 game. Got to believe this will be the last chance for anybody to do any scoring this afternoon, and the Yankees get the last shot at it. Chance to win the ball game. Abreu at AAA Durham last year.
82 strikeouts and 55 1/3. Impressive.
Got a new player in right field for the Jays. It's going to be Bradley McElroy, who was a pinch runner. So Abreu will face Justin Maxwell. And he lines one to the shortstop, Diaz, who makes a lunging catch. 1 pitch and 1 out. Maxwell hit that one right on the nose.
He did a nice job of covering that slider down and away. It's a hard line drive. Nothing to show for it.
Gustavo Molina is now hitting. And he takes a little bit low. Ball 1. Molina in Jorge Posada's spot in the order. Takes over as a DH. Posada was 2 for 3 on the day. Off-speed pitch, swung on and miss.
You can see why Abreu had all those strikeouts at Durham last year. Nice tight slider down and away.
Ball hit in the air to left field, down the line and curving. No, it is a foul ball. He dropped it. Tim's got near that wall, and that'll make you come up a little short with the reach. Ball in and out of the glove. That's a shortstop. Diaz going after it, and Tim's had it for a second there, and the ball fell out of the glove in foul territory. So Molina's at bat will continue. Two and two now on Molina. That is the heralded rookie Manny Banuelos. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 2 up and 2 down.
Well, Molina had a slider to hit and he missed it. Good slider down and away from Abreu.
Banuelos just getting some work in the bullpen. You kind of get the feeling this is going to be the last hitter of this game if Perez doesn't keep it going. He needs to hit one out. That's what he needs to do. He grounded out to second his first time up. Inside, ball 1. Have you met Jordan Perez yet, Flash?
I have not.
He is a strong young man. That's 6'5". Swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
He doesn't get cheated up there. Nice tall stance.
He had an idea of what needs to be done.
That's right.
From Henderson, Nevada. Swing and a miss, strike 2. You can see why Abreu would be tough. He's got that herky-jerky delivery. You can be tough on right-handed hitters.
Yeah, good action down and away, but you're right. He kind of jumps at the hitter. Tough to pick up the spin on that slider.
Ball is popped up. Let's see if it's playable. And the catcher, Ryan Buddy, makes the play, and the Yankees go quietly here in the 10th inning. Nothing across. And let's see if this game, I believe that's it. Everybody's walking off the field. If the umpires are gone, they can't continue this ball game. It looks as though this is going to end in a 5-5 tie. So that's it from Steinbrenner Field this afternoon. It's the Yankees 5 and the Blue Jays 5. We'll be back with a wrap-up in just a moment.